Gotta hit him with the I'm not the one pose.
Is it live on the YouTubes?
Are we live now? See her now.
New stream.
Well, you gotta. Oh, my bad. Listen to output settings, YouTube Studio. Yeah, that's good. All right.
Are we good now?
I think so. I think we have solved. We have exorcised the demons.
Yeah, me demons. Out of here.
Never fails.
Technology, it's a bitch.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Everything seems to be okie dokie.
We up to par.
How's it looking on the live?
Good.
All right.
Solid.
I don't remember anything we said a while ago, and it wasn't much because it was like 5 minutes in.
I was talking about the moose thing, and then
Yeah, we'll have to do that again.
Well,
Well,
that service here, I'd pull it up, but
we like I said, I met you in 2017 at Giddy Up,
mm-hmm.
And I've told the Giddy Up story so many times because it was one of the most. For me, it was one of the most life-changing motorcycle events because it reinforced things I wanted to try riding.
Sure.
And I think that we were all on the same page because you guys were on a motorcycle travel camping kick,
mm-hmm.
and that's what we were on.
Yeah.
And rolling up, meeting you guys at that campsite, all the guys from Houston, which later became the Pterodactyl Boys at this moment.
Yeah.
You were out shooting photos and stuff, and like I think I had told you, like I had bought a camera the year prior in 2016, but I kind of bounced back and forth from using it. Like I would get hyped about like I want to shoot something, and then I just never quite got the results because I didn't really understand how to use a camera as good as I'd wanted to.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and that was I was kind of in the same boat. Like I had just picked up the camera. I don't even remember like what time it was. I think it was maybe like a year prior to that.
So like March 2016,
something
April,
like that.
something
Well,
like
because
that.
I bought it. A couple friends of mine, they wanted to go on this road trip to like the Midwest and everything. So we like packed into this little Scion TC.
Yeah.
And I was like, you know what? I want to start taking photos. And because somebody had told me, like, I took a picture like on a BlackBerry or something. Like, oh, that's a cool fucking photo. And I was like, whatever, that's just stupid. And I started thinking about it. I'm like, if I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it. So I took out a loan for $1,000, and I went to Best Buy, and I bought a camera. Uh-huh. And I just was like, let me see if I can make it work. And then just kind of started snowballing from there and trying to see, like,
it's
what
funny
I can
how
do with
when
it.
you create stuff, comments like that kind of help. Like maybe I could be that. You know what I'm saying? Because that's the same thing that happened to me. Is someone said like you should get a real camera. Like your iPhone photos are decent. You know what I mean? I'm like, oh shit, maybe they see something in me that I don't see myself.
I still say it to people all the time. Like they'll be posting stuff of like them going on trips and everything. I'm like, what kind of camera are you using? Oh, it's just my phone. I'm like, dude, get a real camera. Like this is fire.
Yeah.
Like do that shit. I'm like, oh, I don't know. Like, no, don't question yourself. Do it.
So, you were doing the road trip and stuff like that. What was it? Was just like to document, or did you like?
No, I just wanted to try something different. I used to draw a lot. Like I used to like to draw tattoos, and I've always been interested in like visual arts kind of type stuff. And I'm like, okay, well, let me try my hand in photography. And and then I just started looking up YouTube video after YouTube video on like how to use the camera. Like I had zero experience of it whatsoever, and I'm just like, let me see if I can make this happen. And then along the way on the trip, I just started editing photos like here and there. I'm like, all right, that's cool. I mean, that's not in focus. That's kind of trash. And I mean, at the time, I thought everything was like super, like they were the best photos ever. Like I made it. I'm here, Mom.
Yeah.
But going back and looking at those now, I'm like, oh, God, baby, those are trash. Those are terrible.
I know exactly what you mean.
Trash.
I know what you mean, man, because and I'm actually embarrassed now to even bring it up, but you know, I like I said, I dabbled in camera stuff, and I always had one around, and I kind of understood how to use it, but not to the depths that I needed to get the kind of results that I'm trying to get now, right? But in 2020, in January of 2020, I bought my camera. I decided to take another crack at it, and I bought a full frame camera.
And Canon, right?
The Canon 6D Mark II. Got it for $1,000 on a like Facebook Marketplace. Good deal. And I remember because all the homies were helping out. I mean, I was friends with all these guys by that time, and they were all like, yeah, dude, I'll be your models. And Cody's like my number one model over here. And I remember getting the camera and having some dumb luck success with it at first. But then also, like, what was really heavy was, like, the way people would edit back then. Like, very extreme edits, like, all blacked out. Or
like HDR stuff.
Yeah,
or
like
you know, take out the, like, bring the highlights all the way down and, like, take the shadows completely out and just really bring out those colors. And stuff. Real dynamic photos. And it was just like, that was, like, a trend for a little bit.
Yeah, and it was just so over processed that it looked like it came out of, like, it looked like everything else that people would take with their phone and then use all the sliders in their Instagram
Everything
app.
to the right.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
And it would just, you know, so like, but I kept this on my Fast Life Visuals page. I kept all that on there because I wanted for myself to see the progression. Because I use my Instagram on all three, my personal, my photography, and my business, to, like, when I'm feeling down about whatever I'm doing, like, this is where I was. You know what I'm saying?
Just
and I'm definitely better now. Maybe not where I want to be, but I'm better.
Sure.
So those references have always helped me stay into things.
I do the exact same thing, but it's like I'll archive a bunch of stuff like on Instagram and like Facebook just to keep the page fresh because I mean, as much as I want like other people to see like the progression that I've gone through over the years, I kind of don't. I kind of want to keep it very simple and like to the point of like what's current right now. And then, but I'll still go back to those archives and I'll kind of like scroll through if I'm.
Notice a lot of celebrities do that. Like you'll go to like,
what was it, like Travis Scott or something, and like he deleted everything and there's like 4 posts on there or some shit like that.
Yeah, 4 million followers is like, okay, that's weird.
Follows nobody, 4 posts. Like, we get it, you're cool. But like I just wanted to do it just to kind of like clean up the page a little bit, just to kind of, and I also thought about doing like themes of like, you know, maybe do like a year, like a couple months or something of like a certain, like a thing that I did, or like a certain, like if I was shooting just cars or if it was just bikes or shit like that. Yeah. But now it's just more so just whatever I think is cool. Like I stopped putting more thought into it and I just started doing it.
Yeah, just getting, and I feel like you've cranked out a lot of work over the last like year.
Because it's fun. Like I stopped worrying about trying to make money at it. Because, I mean, I kind of had to for a little bit because it was like, I was in a rough spot. I was like, hey, maybe I can, you know, get a couple bucks out of like prints or something like that, which is cool. And it was fine. But then when it was like, when people start asking for more and want you to do photo shoots or weddings or anything like that, I'm just like, I don't want to do that anymore. That's not fun. Yeah. Because then I don't, like, I'll look at the photos and like, okay, yeah, they're cool, but they're not what I want. Like on this last trip, like it was just about fun, and like some of the content I was producing on that was just, it's like some of my best content to date. Because I wasn't worried about shit. There was no alternative motives or anything. I wasn't trying to make anything out of it. It was just me and the boys having fun, taking photos and driving cross country. So,
well, like I said, whenever we met, like you know, you were walking around with a camera.
I still remember that bike, dude. That blue Dynate you had.
Yeah.
That thing, like, I'd never seen anything like that before, as far as, like, crazy paint
jobs.
Well,
some would call me a trendsetter.
I mean, a little bit, you know. We get it. You're cool.
Sometimes.
But I was like, dude, well, like, it was the frame for me. Like, the paint was cool, but, like, the fact that you color matched the frame, and I was like, I need to shoot that guy. That's fucking cool. Yeah. Love that shit. And then that's when I started, like, picking up on it. I started seeing more of that.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't mind me. I'm just knocking shit over.
It's all cool. I get it. You're nervous.
Not even a little bit. Not even.
Dude, just take your clothes off. It's all good. Here, Moosey. No, I remember that because, like, I think that, like, I bought a camera at the end of 2018, and I fucked with it a little bit, and I kept trying to do stuff, but I just never quite got the results I wanted. But then even I had intended on taking it. I think I did take it on our trip that we took. But you just, like, I'm shy with a camera. Like, and I never felt like you were.
Oh, I was hella shy.
For real?
Hella shy.
How'd you get, like, over that, or are you still kind of in that boat?
I mean, it depends.
How would you explain, like, for people that don't know what we're talking about, what are we talking about being shy with a camera?
Okay, so, like, basically, like, you want to get into photography or anything that involves, like, whether it's just video or photos, and you want to go, like, shoot an event or some people or something like that, and you go to these things and you feel, like, a little bit reserved. You kind of sit back and kind of wait for your moment kind of thing to kind of go out there and engage in whatever's going on. And, like, I had that for a little bit where I would go to, like, car shows, motorcycle shows, and everything like that. And I'd just be a little timid, kind of not really wanting to talk to people or anything like that. And that's what you have to do to be able to, like, get these relationships with people, to, like, have them open up and, like, oh, by the way, you know, I take photos. Can I take some photos of you guys? Yeah. And, like, I got over that. I kind of just said fuck it one day. And, like, you start meeting one person, then another person, then another person. And then you start talking to them, and I'm like, okay, well, I can just do that with random people, too. It doesn't have to be people that I know. Yeah. And you just kind of slowly kind of get into this revolver of just, like, fuck it, basically.
Yeah. I'm still really shy. Like, I don't know if I can, in a crowded event, like, I don't know if that's the kind of photography I really want to do personally either, but I kick myself when I leave my camera back. Like, if we all go out on the town for a night, I'm like, fuck, I wish I had my camera right now. But then when I do bring my camera, I'll just sit it on the table for the whole night. Yeah. It's like a weird thing where it's like, I don't want to be that guy.
Yeah, sometimes it's like that too, because I've done, like, when I go on, like, some of these big ride outs, these stunt rides and stuff, and they do have, like, the after party and everything, and people see me, like, shooting photos, like, throughout the day of people doing their shit, but then the after party, and, like, okay, man, I'll bring the camera too. Half the time it's just, like, sitting there just because I'm like either burnt out or I don't want to mess with the vibe, you know. I don't want to be that guy, like, with the camera in some people's face while they're trying to, you know, butt chug fucking Michelob or something. I don't fucking know. These guys.
Fuck yeah, I don't want to party with y'all.
Hey, man.
But that's the thing is, like, you know, if you think about it, like, that's the kind of shit people do want to be captured. You know what I mean? So it's like,
and then that's when you kind of get the hint that, like, okay, they do want that kind of stuff. You either have to not do it or force yourself to insert yourself into these situations, but within reason. You don't want to be forceful and stuff because, I mean, you don't know everybody. You don't know how people are going to react to kind of shit like that. So just kind of, you know, weasel your way in there, you know, get a couple drinks in, feel a little loose, and then pretty much you're just shooting photos the whole fucking night of, like, random people throwing up and stuff. Like,
for me, like, and I'm still very shy when it comes to that stuff, but I've been working on that. So, like, I went to Tennessee, to the club style Tennessee thing, and they ended up doing some wheelies out front, and I just remember, you know, watching Chop. Like, he's the kind of guy that at an event he'll get up in people's face and get the photos, and then he gets those badass photos everybody likes online. I'm like, well, shit, I'm over here with a long, like, 70 to 200 trying to get people from over here, but it's not the vibe of, like, being in the mix the way he's getting it.
Exactly.
You know?
I mean, that's what I had to do too, because, like, I couldn't afford a long lens or anything. The only thing I had was, like, a kit lens or something, and it can get pretty wide. I think it was like 18, 20 mil or something like that. And the only way I wanted to get the photos that I wanted was I had to be all up in people's shit. So then people just kind of, like, saw me as, like, the guy that was, like, running in between people doing burnouts and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay.
I remember seeing you at that deal that we went to that year. Remember the Elite Stunt Riders.
Yeah,
when you were out there.
When they were, it was the first one that when they did at the Humboldt Civic Center.
Yep.
They had the big parking lot. They had, like, this section.
We kind of thought we were going to get rained out, but it ended up being okay.
It was just, like, sprinkling a little bit, but I mean, most of the guys were, like, Houston dudes, but then everybody else started coming in, and they were just super cool. And I was like, you know what, fuck it. If I'm gonna be here, I'm gonna just get all up in their shit. Yeah. Like, I'm gonna be, like, right up on somebody. It ended up working out really fucking good. Like, I got a lot of bangers on that little deal that was there. Yeah. And it was just for me. Like, it was one of those things where, like, I had, like, nobody hired me, nobody did anything. I was just there for fun because I like to ride and I like the scene.
So basically, when we met, you were about a year into the whole, like, journey with photography. But when we did that trip together, what was, like, if you can remember, like, what was like your driving force to make you want to do that trip? Because I know I can be a bully sometimes with people on that shit.
No. Well, at the time, I mean, I was still with the company that I'm with today. We had just opened up another location, and it was just me, the 2 owners, and one other person. So I'm working 14-hour days, 7 days a week for, I think it was like 3 or 4 months, just straight, just racking everything up. And it kind of worked out perfectly whenever you asked me to be on that trip, because I was like, I need a vacation. Like, I'm getting burnt out. I need to go do something. Yeah. And I had just picked up that FXR and, like, kind of put T-bars and everything on it. I was like, fuck, let's go, dude.
I remember you had those Leather Pros maxed out.
Uh-huh.
Like,
I still have that photo.
Like, when you take Leather Pros and you fully extend them out, they just look like a busted accordion, like falling over. Like, I mean, they're functional.
Very functional. I have them on my Sporty now too.
For real.
Hell yeah, dude.
They go so far out that I feel like they would scrape if you were hitting corners.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. And they would kind of like sag a little bit. And like about halfway through the trip, I'm like, yeah, I overpacked.
I remember because like you overpacked, but you also brought like
a full tent,
a full tent to where it was taller than the sissy bar. Mm-hmm. Like, you could stand up in it and do, like, jumping jacks.
It was all I had, man. And it was, like, a cheap $50 Walmart tent. It was, like, self-pop-up, and, like, you didn't have to do anything. Just fold out the sides and pull it up from the center.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, fuck it, let's go.
The first night that we camped on that trip was Monument Valley, right?
Yes, because we stayed at the hotel in Santa Fe.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's when me and Brad almost got into a fight with the guy that came up and hang out with us. Remember that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Wild story.
Come on, let's hear it.
It's I don't know. I'll let Brad tell that story. It's a little personal to him. So, but yeah, it was one of those deals where like this guy followed our brand, and were you there that day when the guy asked me for an autograph? Because that was at the Santa Fe Harley.
I think I was outside taking photos or some shit.
Yeah, it was weird. So we were at we stayed in Santa Fe, and one of the guys from Albuquerque came up, was a follower of our paint work and stuff like that, and then I don't know if he covered y'all's Buffalo Wild Wing dinner, but he definitely covered ours. We got pretty hammered.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't think he did.
Well, you know.
I think because me and Austin were kind of at the end of the table. We had showed up a little bit later or something. And we're just like, oh, we'll just kind of hang out here. I was just like, I'm trying to hang out. I don't fucking care. Like, I didn't know what was going on. But like, yeah, this dude just bought our like food and beer and everything. I was like, sick. Right on, dude.
So he came back to the hotel, and we were all sitting outside in the little parking lot area, or like the gazebo area in the center, and he just kind of started making some inappropriate comments to Brad, and it was one of those weird like things where probably the first time in my life where I was sitting with a homie and just realized like this dude just said something that we have to fight this guy now. like there's like I saw it in Brad, and I saw it in me, and I was like, fuck, man, this is not the way I wanted the first night of this bike trip to go down. Right. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, it was a wild one. But
yeah, definitely have Brad tell that story, because I feel like he would just insert like these little things here and there, and he would like, I feel like he can recall everything that was going on through his head, and it would be hilarious.
Yeah. But we got to, man, there's so many, I've told these stories about being on this trip so much on this podcast.
I hear it all the time, and I'm just like, every time I hear it, I'm like, man, I'm just kind of remembering everything that like I had forgotten that trip.
You took a lot of photos on that trip that were after the fact. They were like, honestly, some of my most favorite photos that I have of my bike or myself or whatnot. The first photo was on 287 heading out, where Brad's standing behind me, and like I'm working on my bike. Yeah, it's right there. The black and white one right there.
Yeah, a lot of those, it's like they were good photos, but like my editing skills were just trash. So like whenever I first came, well, I mean, that was after the fact.
Yeah.
Like when I first edited that photo, I was like, it was whatever. Yeah. And then I went back and I revisited a lot of these old ones, and I'm like, I could change that up.
Yeah.
And they were just like, damn, that was a banger.
That one, there was a gas station photo you had got of us when we were in like Atlas or whatever the town was.
So the one of y'all sitting on the curb?
No, that was another good one. But this is one where I had to use that one for reference to see if I had my my axle nut on the bike.
Oh, yeah.
And I looked at that photo you took, and it was gone on that part. And that was 50 miles from Mexican Hat, where we were at. You know what I mean? So
that one was cool.
Yeah, there was I don't know. That was when you guys broke off, I knew it had something to do with the fact that my bike made it only about 150 miles at a time before it had a problem.
I honestly wasn't even like, that may have been like what Austin was thinking, but I just kind of was like, I kind of want to get to Born Free. Like, I want to go see everything. I want to go like ride the canes, want to go to LA and everything. Because I had never ridden California like on a bike. I've been there like car, plane, stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I was like, man, let's cruise down. Like, because y'all were going to
San Francisco.
And I was like, I could probably see that another time. Like, let's just split off. We'll meet each other up later. But I was like, I just want to see like California.
We did stay up pretty late that night in Monument Valley here doing the astrophotography.
Oh yeah, because that was my first time trying to do the light painting.
Yeah,
and that was I actually found those photos the other day too. I was going through like the archives. I was like, man, I should touch those up again and see how those come out. They were okay, but I was like, man.
So we camped in the same spot that we camped at, right? Honestly, the same little area and everything too, and like when you take a picture in those areas, like you can see the cluster of stars, but you can't quite see it the way the camera can see it. So when you take a picture with your camera, like you can, with like just raising a little bit of a slider here and there, you can reveal all that shit. It's insane.
And I had that app too that like shows like
where
I wanted to know where the Milky Way was. I was like, let's get a Milky Way shot. And I've always wanted to go back and redo that same photo, but obviously you don't have that same bike anymore, so like, oh well. But we can still make it happen. Like
I've had a hard time doing those photos again.
Oh, dude, I can do it all day now.
For real?
Oh yeah. Like
we tried it in Yellowstone that time, and the shit was just yellow on my camera, and I couldn't get my settings right.
It's I mean, a lot of it's like, I mean, you can fix that in like post and everything, but as far as like actually getting the settings right, like since that trip, like I've done it probably like 10 times now with just personal shit, because I was like, I want to learn how to like do all that, because I think it looks cool. Like, it may be a little bit oversaturated on social media and everything, but like it's just for me, just the satisfaction of doing it.
Yeah, I feel like that trip was fun, man, and being around you made me want to shoot more. And it's one of those weird things, like in our group of friends, like there's not necessarily a photographer there. Sure. We got homies, doing the GoPros and stuff like that. So there's not, I guess I'm the more the photographer of the thing, which it's like, to lead into that one trip you guys just did, that's been one thing that I've been thinking about a lot. It's like how fun it would be to do a trip with other photographers, whether it was like what you did with driving or riding or anything like that.
Being where I'm at now with all of my like friend group, that I mean, basically everybody's some sort of like photographer, whether it be like digital or film or anything. It's a whole different thing, because like you said, like you're usually the one who's the photographer, so who are you gonna bounce ideas off from, or just kind of you're in your own zone. But when you're around other people that do it too, it's a whole different ball game. Like,
I've always told them it's like, and they've reassured me it's not a big deal, but it's like when I think about, okay, I want to be at this place at this time, then I feel like the other 7 guys on our trip have to accommodate to me for this moment to get this shot. And sometimes that means, okay, we got to get this shot at sunset, but then we're going to still have 100 miles to go at night, which is kind of selfish on my part, because we could probably make there before the sun goes down if we just keep going. You know what I mean? But then you don't get that shot of that certain area at the right sunlight, which doesn't end up being the most badass shot you could have got on the trip.
Ultimately, kind of seems like a waste of time at that point. Like, okay.
So when I did this Keys trip, this last one I went on a couple weeks ago, like I told my homie that was going down there with me, I was like, look, sunrise and sunset, I'm not drinking, I'm not fucking partying. I'm doing this to get these shots, and then we can do whatever you want. Yeah. But I need these shots. I need these, because even if you're not taking a picture of the sunset, the lighting changes everything.
Oh yeah,
you know
absolutely,
what I'm saying?
100%.
Like we like on our last trip, we were coming into our hotel on this technically the third night. It was in Park Spring. Was that where was that in Utah? Cedar City, Utah, or Park City, something like that. One of those. And we had just came out of Zion. The sun was going down to the left of our highway. We're going north. And perfect time to shoot photos, because you got sun going down and mountains. And I got so many fucking bangers.
Glowing.
Everything's glowing.
Yeah.
It's like
Golden hour, baby.
100%. You get the bikes shot at the right time, especially on the highway getting rollers. The only thing that could have made it better is if I was just riding backwards on one of the bikes.
Sure.
Because I'm sitting here rolling, just trying to do this out the sides and shit. And you're like, fortunately, the highway was like a 3-lane highway, so we were able to kind of mob the whole thing, and there wasn't a lot of traffic, so we were at some space. And I got some bangers out of it, man. Like those are the kind of things.
Feeling,
yeah, dude.
When you actually like, I need to kind of be in this certain spot or in this certain like time frame of day, and you just get it. It's
to
like,
get them.
You knew as soon as you shot, like, that's a banger right there.
Well, you can see it too when you're riding. Like, I'm sure a lot of people do this when you're rolling with the homies and you're just cruising down the highway or wherever it is, and the sun starts to go down. It becomes a vibe, right? It becomes like. You see it. The homies start doing this when they roll by. They just start not, you know,
You do like the look over and you're like,
yeah.
Fuck yeah, brother.
So yeah, that's kind of the thing, man. It's like, and that's what you want to get because those are going to be the best shots out of the trip that are going to really capture the vibe. Use that word again.
Yeah, I mean,
you know what I mean?
It is what it is. I mean, it's a thing now. You got to catch the vibe now.
But I mean, anybody can grab a camera and go shoot, and almost anybody will get lucky.
Sure.
You know what I mean? But to create, I think the deeper you go in photography, or the deeper you go trying to create like things that are going to be what you would want to put in your portfolio or be your legacy, if you will. Like you want to have those shots where you made the sacrifices to be in the right place at the right time, in the right situation and whatnot. So I don't know. It's a crazy one.
Yeah, I mean, I've kind of thought about that like myself, like what do I want to leave behind kind of like type deal. And then I'm one of those people that like overthinks everything. So then like I start thinking about that and I'm just kind of stressing about it more. And then that's when I had to get into the mindset of just
not caring.
Just don't care. Like just put it out there, do something, or even don't put it out there, but just keep shooting and then just look back at it like, man, I can do a little bit better. You know?
So who was some of your like early, or who are your influences in photography?
Oh man,
what YouTube channels were you all over?
Peter McKinnon, obviously. I mean, everybody's always on Peter McKinnon because like he just like the way he presents everything, his demeanor is just fantastic. Photos, legendary. Larry Chen also, he's a automotive photographer. He's been in the scene for a long time. Been shooting everything. There's a guy back in Houston named Dan Pham. He shoots all the stuff for the restaurant I work for, but he also does car photography and everything. And like I've been following him for a long time, and like it's just everything is just super. It's simple, but it's clean.
Yeah.
Like I don't know how to explain it, but it's super cool. Obviously, Chopsky is like one of like he's a big one just because his style is completely different from anybody else's stuff that's out there. Before Cody Melton was also one that I like followed for a while because all the stuff that he was doing, and I mostly picked his brain about like how he did it like on the business aspect of it because he worked for like a PR group or something like that. And I was like, how do you like do this and this? And he just basically told me his whole story, and I was like, damn, you just like it just kind of fell into your lap kind of thing. Yeah, like you just happened to be in the right place at the right time kind of deal. There's just a lot. Like I follow a lot of photographers. I just like seeing everybody else's style and how they see things. And it's funny because you see a lot of people, they'll post kind of the same shit. It's like, you know, sunset, mountains, landscapes, cars, motorcycles and everything, but everybody has their own individual style. And it's just like, how do they see it? And that's what kind of intrigues me a little bit more. Yeah. I think it's, I don't know, it's just cool.
Yeah, no, that's 100% it. I mean,
even your photography too, like how like you started doing more lighting stuff and everything.
Yeah.
I'm like, Jesus Christ, that's fucking fire, dude. Like, I mean, if I did lighting and stuff, like that'd be all right, cool. Yeah. But it's like you have your own specific eye for certain things, and I was like, damn, that's like crispy.
Thank you.
Guy, crispy.
It's one of those things where like I got into lighting because of Not Stock Photography. He's, in my opinion, probably one of the OGs in like, you know, mini trucking and all the truck magazines and shooting that car culture. And he's always had such a balance of like the right lighting and then using flash and stuff like that to bring out the car and whatnot. And every time we take the flash out, it just makes better photos. You're able to make more dramatic backgrounds and just enough light to light up what you need to light up in the situation.
And I've dabbled in it a little bit with like, onboard flashes and some like off flashes and everything, but I kind of just wanted my thing to be was kind of playing with natural light in the way that it is, and then playing with post-production a little bit more just to kind of accent certain highlights or certain shadows or something like that, or just completely just blow it out and make it look like it was photoshopped almost. Like,
I understand what you mean. Yeah,
just something that's like could be kind of defined as like my style, but at the end of the day, I'm just trying to have fun with it. Like, I think it's
I'm trying to like lean into the same way I found my style in paint in photography, and I feel like when I was trying to make my own style in paint, I was still a student of everybody else's. You getting some more beer? Yeah, I need some more.
Please and thank you, Daddy.
So what I had found is that like the more I studied other photographers and learned more of their style, those are the styles that inspired me. So obviously I like it. So it's going to become part of me, right?
Sure.
And as I keep doing this, eventually you get enough like skills and you really do develop an eye for it. Photography is 100% like riding a skateboard. The longer you do it, the more easy it becomes. You know what I'm saying?
You gotta put in that seat time.
And so I'm trying to let my style come to me, but I'm still my two photographers that I know in person are Not Stock Photography and Tim O'Keefe from Stag.
Oh yeah.
Tim O'Keefe's not a light guy. He's a natural light all the way through.
That's another one I forgot to mention. I like the way he does. Like, it's very candid, like very like natural, like no posing, anything like that. Or some of the stuff he'll do is like posing and everything, but like a lot of his like
he knows how to make women look so fucking sexy.
He just knows how to read the room,
Read the room.
He just knows how to read the room. Like,
he's got an eye for it, man. He's got a true artistic eye, and he's actually traditionally trained in like film photography and things like that. And it's the way his work shines is like he captures the moment that I think we all feel. It's the same way like David Mann captures a motorcycle vibe with like
his paintings,
right? Tim O'Keefe knows what we're thinking, how we're thinking as like. It's such an erotic thing how he shoots women, but it's not like Maxim magazine, big tits and fucking busting out your shirt kind of thing.
It's more natural, but it's also sexy at the same time.
Exactly. So, but yeah, I mean, he was a big help in like helping me like make decisions on camera stuff. He shot a Canon, so I ended up going Canon, and then of course John Jackson from Not Stock Photography. He's a Fuji guy. Oh, so he's one of those $10,000 cameras and $10,000 lenses and shit like that. Out of my
tax bracket, man.
Dude, yeah. So and I don't even understand why I have what I have, but his shit's on another level.
It's like those guys that shoot like Hasselblads and stuff. I'm like, what are you shooting?
$40,000 cameras.
Why?
They can't even do a video. I think the crazy thing is like people don't. There's so many. The range of camera stuff is so insane. Like. From your, used camera market where you can get a decent camera for $500 to, like a body that's $5,000 to, just it's such a wide range that most people don't realize how much goes into it to just own the equipment on top of being able to use the equipment. You know what I mean?
I think just because you get like this most expensive equipment, you're going to have fire photos every single time, which that's not the case.
Yeah, it's not the case. It definitely gives you a, Having good, I mean, it's the old argument, the equipment versus skill, right? Like a dude out there on a fucking like $500 camera, just out there hustling, creating shit. I mean, the thing that you can't buy is composition. You can't buy the creativity behind something. And at that point, it doesn't matter what you're shooting with, an iPhone or whatever. Like if your shit just captivates the audience, and it is what it is,
Oh, baby, talk nice to me. Beer delivery. Cheers, mate.
Daddy, like.
This one goes out to my friend Riley. Got me onto these things. Appreciate you, bud.
It's because I'm on a diet. Fuck that Mexican food we just ate though. So good.
So
If
good.
y'all hear a snore or two, mind your business. I'll be back.
But no, yeah, I totally get it.
How do you think like your I mean, you've essentially been doing it for 6 years now, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So 6 years, behind the lens, it's like, what do you think your ups and downs, your peaks and valleys have been?
Just trying to find like the stuff that I like to shoot.
Yeah.
Like I kind of went to this phase of trying to shoot like not landscape, but like urban photography, like going
like street photography type
street
stuff.
photography, yeah, like going out throughout the city, shooting people and everything. And I'm like, okay, it's cool. Some of them came out alright, but it just wasn't my thing.
Yeah.
And then shooting like I did 2 weddings before, and I'm like, dude, I don't want to do weddings and stuff. That's like very generic and basic.
Yeah.
And it's and then that's when I started getting into like, let me go shoot like motorcycles more, and then I get into the stunt scene, and the stunt scene's a whole different thing.
Yeah.
And then I had people hit me up wanting me to do like my girl or this girl wants to pose on like this bike and everything. I'm like, nah, dude, I don't shoot chicks. Like I don't do that kind of stuff. It's just not my jazz. Like I'm sure I can probably get like 10,000 followers or fucking like likes and stuff on Instagram, but it's like that's just not my jazz. And then
What makes you not want to shoot like chicks and stuff like that?
it's just because I feel like it goes into like people liking the photo just because there's tits in it.
Yeah.
And not so much as like, the bike or like what went into making that photo.
So I feel that same way, but about like shooting bikes that are painted up and look good.
Yeah.
It's almost like, okay, do you like the photo? If this was a black Road Glide, would you still like it as much?
Yeah, exactly. It's like,
So
a little bit different. But I was just like, no, that's something I'm going to stay away from. And then I got into like shooting the stunt bike stuff.
Yeah.
And then in doing so.
keep the mic close.
Oh, okay.
You're a soft talker.
I am a soft talker. It's okay.
You can move it with you. There you go.
Like that. No, so in doing that, in me trying to get the shots that I really wanted to get, I had to ride and do it. I didn't like riding with other people and getting these shots, so I had to figure out ways to do it. And I had all different kinds of contraptions and stuff of like throttle locks. I even had like, what's it called? Like my iPhone cable in between like the throttle tube and everything. I just tie it on there just so I can like lock it in, so that way I can have my hand free to like shoot some stuff. And then I found out that there's actual throttle locks and stuff out there. Or the Harley has a little twist knob underneath it.
Yeah.
So I used that, and then that's when I was like, I like shooting this. This is fun.
Yeah.
Because
So you do a lot of that stuff while you're still riding?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's sketchy, and I like it. If I'm like literally like a guy's wheeling right here with me, and I'm holding on with one hand, or sometimes I even did a I was sitting side saddle one time while I was doing it. I just kind of locked the throttle and I just kind of sat there. And I was just shooting because I needed to get like a certain angle.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is sketchy. There's one guy wheeling in front of me, another guy doing a rolling burnout over here, another guy wheeling right here. And I'm like, this could go really bad. But it was really fun doing it. Like, I liked getting really sketchy. That's my version of stunning.
Yeah.
And then I learned how to like wheelie a bike and everything. Like they taught me and stuff. And I was like, no, I'm going to stick to just shooting. Like, I think it's fun. And then kind of go through like a little bit of like another like lull.
Yeah.
Like I don't really want to shoot much of anything. It's like kind of the same stuff over and over again. Get back into cars. I start hanging out with other people that are like into BMWs and Mercedes and like all these old E36s, E30s and shit like that. And there goes that spark again. Like I'm like, all right, cool. Let's keep that rolling. Let's do a little bit more of that. And then it just kind of puts you in with different people, and you just start
Networking.
Networking a little bit, and then even if it's not for like business purposes, you just know people. And that's how I met my roommate. That's how I met like some of my best friends now. The people that I went on the trip with, like just because we like to shoot and we have like common interests, and it was just fun.
No, that makes sense, man. If you and also like if you're not chasing the money aspect, if you have opportunities to make money and it becomes like a job, that's one thing. Like
Sure.
Cody Melton, getting the opportunity and it becoming his job to shoot photography, that's the goal, right?
Absolutely.
But if not, if you continue to chase and shoot what you have fun shooting, then all it does is help you progress because you're still at least shooting, right? You're still at least going out taking photos. You're still looking how to improve yourself. So whether or not your stuff is valuable monetarily to anybody yet is kind of off the table, but
Sure.
at least you're still practicing.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of like, I've had a couple of those lulls in the last, hard, like shooting photography, like consistently since 2020. Like, I've had a couple spots, man, where I was just like, dude, this is dumb. Like, all I have is good pictures of my own bike.
Burn everything. I don't even want to do this anymore.
Yeah, it's like, and then I look at all the shit I bought because I like gear. I like that. I like, that's cool. I want that, and then I need that lens because it's gonna make my photos better. And next thing you know, like, I have a whole tour pack dedicated to camera equipment on a bike trip, and it's like there's no room for camping gear. And it's like, I want to camp still, but I don't want to not take my camera. So I'm like, fuck
what
camping.
What if I
Let's
need that
go
lens,
get
though?
those.
I may need that lens, or I may need the drone or something like that.
Yeah.
No, I totally get that. It just kind of get into this like snowball effect of like, I want that, I want that, I want that, I want that.
Yeah.
And then that's the way I was for like a good while, and then I stopped shooting for like the past, I don't know, what was it? Like it was like after April of this year, like I didn't shoot for months.
For real?
Didn't even pick up my camera. I was just kind of like, I really don't feel like doing anything.
But you did that. Then you come back and you do this trip up there, and like I said, all those photos from that Pacific Northwest trip seemed like they just had a completely different vibe if you look back on your portfolio.
It was like I did a little bit of stuff here and there, like I said, like cars, or like sometimes like they would have like a small ride out, like some of the Houston guys, and I would go out and shoot that. I forget which ride out. It was like an H-Town ride out or something. Yeah. That was the first time I picked up my camera in months, and I was like, I'll go out and I'll shoot these guys. Oh, it was when the photographer Sig, the guy from Atlanta, he came down because he was doing a feature with like the Houston Bike Life guys. And I was like, okay, well, if he's gonna be here, like I'll pop out. So I did, and that's when like the love for it actually like came back again. Like,
you think it was also being around another photographer?
Well, I didn't even see him. That's the thing. I didn't even get to meet him. I didn't even meet the guy. I just heard that he was gonna be here, and then all my homies that like were riding, they're like, yeah, just come out and come shoot and everything. I was like, all right, whatever, no big deal. So like I go out there, and it's just like some guy on a 4-wheeler just popped up right next to me, and he had like the SIG mask on, and he just kind of like drops his handbag doing hand drags and everything, and I'm just like, that's it right there. And I had my wide angle at the time, so I just got up like real, I like stood on my back pegs.
I think I remember that shot too.
Oh my God, dude, that shit was fucking tight. And then it was just like one after the other, and I'm like, okay, let me get back into this a little bit. And then I started just kind of going out more so, not the traditional rides, but like the pop-out boy stuff, all those dirt bike guys that are like riding throughout town and everything. That's what I like to do. And then
we got a quick question if it doesn't take too long from the gallery. What body and glass are you using while on the bike?
Right now it's Sony A7 III and currently running the 16-35 G Master lens. I just picked that up because I wanted something wide, and it's been a freaking game changer. Yeah, it's been pretty dope. Yeah. Before it was like Tamron and Sigma lenses, which they're affordable, but you can really tell the difference when you start getting to like native lenses and stuff.
Cool. That was for the Bent Rim podcast.
Bet. Sounds good.
Sorry, everybody. I'm mouth breathing today, so if you hear that, my nose does not work right now. I sound nasally as shit.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
It'll probably break all this shit up in my nose real quick. But goddamn, I just breathed in. And I felt like my Abdullah oblongata was jiggling.
Mama says that's the devil.
That's kind of crazy how like these different scenes help re-inspire the desire, if you will.
Yeah, and then it's just like, okay, I started getting to the mindset of like, I don't want to do too much of one thing because then it's going to just kind of make me feel like it's just not fun anymore. And then I set the camera down again, just focus on work and chill and resting up, doing whatever. And then my roommate pitched the idea for the trip to go get this car in Seattle.
So does your roommate shoot, or is it the other guy? Okay.
Yeah. My roommate he's very well known in the Houston car community. Like Live from the Shutter, you say that name out there, everybody knows who Sean is. Like they see cars everywhere and they tag him and repost him and everything just because he's the car guy, along with many other guys. But I mean he's like the one. So he pitched to me that this car that they had originally driven from here up to Seattle and traded it for like an old Volvo and then drove that back down.
Yeah.
And we thought that car was gone. So he came back to me. He's like, that car's for sale again. Homeboy's trying to get rid of it. I'm like, you trying to go get it? He's all like, I told him, give me like 2 months and I'll have the money. And so he sent him half. And then he sent the other half. He's like, you ready to go to Seattle? I'm like, fuck yeah. So I immediately got on my phone. I bought us plane tickets up there. I was like, let's make this happen. And then not intending to shoot or do anything, it was just like, let's just go up there. Let's take a road trip. We both need to get off of work and just kind of like reset. And then it was like, as soon as we got there, it was like, damn, like the vibes were just hitting one after the other. And I just couldn't help but like just shoot everything. And you go back and you look at it while you're like in a hotel room or something. You're like,
yeah.
That's the one right there.
That's every time we would shoot on our trips, like, and I know we got a lot of shots today. They're all like, let's go to the fucking bar. I'm like, you guys go out. I'm gonna stay on with the computer. They all think I'm jerking off and shit. It's like, no.
I mean, maybe a little bit, but I mean, it's mostly photos. So
that's just to get it out of the way, and then like I'm into editing photos.
Right back to business.
Yeah.
But then we started going through everything, and he brought his little it's like a little point and shoot film camera, but it's like you can reuse it, and they have like little settings and stuff on it. And we're like, oh, okay, let's mess around with that. So he was messing around with that, and not knowing like how like the pictures were coming out, we just thought it'd be kind of nostalgic and everything.
Yeah,
and we had we had a little Polaroid too. Yeah. His girlfriend let us borrow her little like Polaroid camera. Those were probably my favorite ones. Yeah, because it's just like click, pull it out, and it's just like all three of us standing in front of the Golden Gate Bridge. And it was like, that's the one right there. That's fucking cool. But then going back, it's just like you see all these photos that you took in front of Golden Gate, down PCH, golden hour at like, what is it, like 5, 6 in the morning out there? Yep. And it's just like, dude, like this is what I like right here. It just, again, like you set it down for a little bit and then come back to it, and then that spark hits. And then it's a whole nother ball game.
Yeah, there's I started going down the film rabbit hole actually this whole year, just watching YouTubers that I like to watch. Actually, it's only one guy, but he would do what y'all did, where not necessarily go buy a car and then drive back, but him and another buddy that does film, they just go on a Route 66 trip.
Sure.
And they're not trying to be like, oh, on this highway right here, this happened. No, he's like, look, we're looking for banger signs and abandoned buildings to take pictures of. And it's like they go out and take pictures, and they go home to the hotel every night and drink whiskey and talk shit to each other. And I'm like, that looks fun. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly.
And then, but with the film, like the reason why I'm so into it right now is like I'm not trying to go like do a photo shoot on a bike or go do riding shots. I'm not trying to do that, but these like candid moments, like they look so much better on a grainy ass film, and I want to take.
You never see like the people with the film cameras because they're small.
Yeah.
So it's usually like they're very like incognito, like frame it up real quick. They kind of adjust the lens sometimes.
Everything's manual.
Yeah,
so.
and then just and you didn't even know they're like one of my friends, Akash, like he's like that. Whenever he when he brings his digital camera out, you know he has his digital camera because it's just firing off left and right. But when he has primarily his film camera, he'll kind of like go off in his own zone, and like you'll just see him like line something up, but he's just very like
incognito,
stealthy with it. But his shots are just like he takes that time to dial everything in, and he's very well versed in like these film cameras, and it's just the shots are just crispy every time.
You said it a while ago. It's like you don't know what you got. So like when you. And I'm never leaving digital. Like I'm not one of those like, oh, it's this or that kind of things, which apparently exists in the camera world.
It's a very big thing,
right?
Yeah.
But I love both of them because like going on a trip, I do want to get digital shots of the homies on riding, doing this, but like in my head right now, I'm thinking about when we went to the black mailbox. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, if I could have just stepped out big enough to get a good wide angle of all the homies standing around, this motherfucker's smoking weed and blowing it in the mailbox and everything. The black mailbox is the Area 51 thing. Yeah. It's just like that's a good film shot. Whether it's perfect focus, it's
even if
shot.
it's like not in focus, like you're capturing like a candid in that moment.
Yeah.
And it could mean a whole different thing versus if you got like the perfect digital shot.
Yeah. Because
Is it all black and white or color?
No, it's whatever film you put in it. So the color, I've got a couple black and white rolls, but I haven't put it in yet. I've only developed. I bought this camera in August, and I developed my first roll of film 2 weeks ago.
Really?
And out of the roll of film, maybe 3 or 4 shots, I was like, hell yeah, that was dope.
Cool.
But now that I know what it looks like, and I'm kind of learning this camera because the settings are the same. Like, you know, if the shit's if it's not bright enough, like it's dark, it doesn't come out good, you know?
But you have to actually think about that now versus when we're spoiled nowadays with like these mirrorless cameras that you can see everything changing in real time.
Yep.
You're like, oh, that's too bright, crank it down. All right, it's just good, click, and you're good. Like this one, you have to know your settings.
36 pictures.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
So it's like 36 pictures, and you got to take it out and roll it up and shit. But it's like, it's making it, like I said, I'm using it for documenting time and doing things.
Sure.
But it's like a more intentional shot. Like I don't really know what to say about it. It's just, it's fun because I don't know what the fuck I get. And then when you go drop the film off to get it like processed, you're stoked. And then you get the email. Yeah, you get the email with all because what they'll do is they'll scan them and then they'll turn them into digital photos, which is kind of counterintuitive, but
I guess. I mean, with the way the internet is and like social media and stuff, like you want to post it like and share it. That's the way you share it and everything.
Instead of going back home, put it in a scanner.
I've been kind of dabbling into like picking my friends' brains and stuff. I'm like, well, why are you getting your film shot like digitized? Kind of thing. Well, I gotta share it somehow. I'm like, all right, cool.
Yeah,
I guess I get it.
So I still have the film, so I can get prints and stuff like that.
Like the negatives and stuff.
Yeah. So I don't know. I enjoy it. It's fun. And it makes you like think about the shot more than just hitting the shutter button.
Sure.
And shooting 1,000 photos. Like, and trust me, like there's a time for that. Like. We were at the down south camp out. I rode on the back of one of the homies' bikes and shot 2,000 photos in 10
tight.
miles.
You were doing back to back, weren't you?
Yeah.
That looks so cool. It looks like fun.
It's scary.
I know. That's why I want to do it.
You get the most aggressive riding angles, and you get time to frame it out perfectly in the camera and shoot it, but also adjust your settings to make sure that you get a high or underexposed one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I don't know what I would do with myself if I was in that kind of position, because I'm always like riding while shooting, and like I have to make sure like I see it in front of me, and then adjust the settings real quick, or even just like not even do anything, just kind of hopes and dreams it, and point and shoot, and they'd come out decent. But if I actually had time to sit there and just look at it and be like, all right, this is right here, this is good, and then shoot it. Game over,
changer.
Game over, dude.
Also, like the thing that sucks is like when I'm trying to get that like blurry like motion blur going on in the background.
I've been recently doing more of that. I've been trying to like get better at that, and it's like
it's a fine line because you have to lower your shutter speed so much that you risk the failure of the subject you're doing actually being focused. Like it's hard, man, because like you get the perfect background, but they're just a little bit fuzzy. And it's just not allowed to be that way.
Or like digital. The wrong point on the subject is clear, and you're not like,
it catches the mirror, so they're out of focus.
Yeah, it's like, God damn it. All right, well, in those kind of situations, like maybe I can just run it as black and white, and maybe it'll be kind of like cool. But other than that, it's probably just trash.
On this trip, when y'all did that, like y'all linked up, and y'all were just gonna run PCH the whole down. Did y'all start PCH in like Astoria and go all the way down, or where'd y'all?
So flew into Seattle, picked up the bike. We actually had. One of the fuel lines was broken. We went ahead and just like did like a little test run before we actually left for the trip. One of our other friends, he missed his flight. He was supposed to take us to the airport in the morning. He missed his flight. And so we had to wait for him anyway. So like, okay, we'll just do like a little run through on it. And once we all got there, it was a little bit late. So like, all right, let's go to Portland. Let's just, make our way down to Portland, stay there. Then regroup. 3 a.m. comes along, get back in the car, start heading towards San Francisco. It was Seattle, Portland, San Francisco. And then from San Francisco, we'll just take PCH all the way down, and we'll just see. That'll be like the part of the trip that we were looking forward to, and we just kind of see whatever. We'll do whatever. We haven't really no time until that Friday where we have to get our other friend to the airport so he can fly back home.
Okay.
So it was just kind of taking our time really, but still having somewhat of a time frame. And then it was like, okay, Portland, we get there late, and not much in Portland. We just kind of used it for the hotel. And then San Francisco was the big one, or the first big one, because we made it perfect timing. We left Portland at 4 a.m. and got to San Francisco at golden hour that night. Perfect. So we had like all the photos that we wanted to take, and then we ended up getting a hotel in Chinatown, like in the business district. One of our friends, shout out to Frank, hooked that one up. He just got us a hotel. He's like, yeah, I got you guys. Don't even worry about it. So stayed on like the 26th floor or some shit like that. And I got like a picture of like the whole like skyline, not even really the skyline, but just like the city and everything. I was like, oh, it's so fucking cool. And they're like, yeah, we got time. Let's go get some food and go explore. So we spent the night just walking all around like Chinatown, and just hanging out. And then from there, the next morning, slept in till 4 a.m. That was epic. Nobody wanted to fucking wake up, but we had to because we had to make it down. And then from there, we'd start PCH and then just start going all the way down. And just, like I said, we're just kind of, I mean, if we make it to LA by Friday, I mean, cool. If we're a little bit earlier, but I mean, ultimately, like Friday afternoon, we had to drop our friend off at the airport, which we had some time.
Where'd y'all end up staying on PCH?
We didn't stay anywhere. We just kind of ran all the way through. Okay. But see, the thing was, it was funny because you've ridden PCH. It's like kind of slower speeds because there's a lot of like cliffs and sharp turns and everything like that. Nah, dude, we're in a 1987 Cosworth Mercedes, and she eats. Like we were going like my buddy Sean, my roommate. He was on a sick one, like going 60 through these turns, and I'm in the back seat just holding on the whole time, and I'm just like. And I'm trying to shoot video and photos, and I'm just trying not to fucking die. Yeah. And so, and my buddy Carter's in the passenger seat, and the whole time he just keeps saying, "You're good, don't even worry about it." Worst co-pilot ever, but still like kind of good, still fucking cool. But it was just one of those things where it's like we ran through PCH so fast. I think it's like 8 or 9 hours from San Fran all the way down.
Well, like Monterey to San Luis Obispo, it's probably like 8 or 9 from there.
Yeah. So we made it down to LA in I think like 6 or 7 hours. Yeah, we were cooking, dude. And then by the time we got like kind of close to like Monterey, we're just like, all right, we'll chill out for a little bit. So we just kind of like stepped. Well, the thing was we wanted to go to Neptune's because we wanted to take the photo in front of like the Neptune sign. Like I've been there before, but they hadn't. I was like, yeah, that's pretty cool. I mean, sometimes you'll catch like cool car guys or motorcycle guys out there. Like it's a thing, but nobody was there. It was like a weird.
That was a cool shot though. I felt like it was like the perfect like. Anytime you could find a busy place like that daytime and get the shot where there's like no one around, it feels kind of like something's off.
Like set up.
Like like there's this like connection to it. We're like, that's a busy place, but like there's this desolateness to it or something.
This was like around. I mean, we got there. I want to say like 1 or 2. So I mean, I guess there just wasn't a whole lot of people around, and then it was like people camping on like the side of the beach and stuff. But
California.
Yeah, hippies and everything, van life, baby.
Hell yeah, van life in their Hyundai Sonata
and their Teslas, Model X's. But yeah, after that, it was just kind of like, okay, we go drop Carter off at the airport, and then we'll just slowly make our way back down.
Was there anything like on this like this journey, for lack of a better term, that you guys as photographers like looked at like, I want to shoot something at this spot?
San Francisco, Golden Gate Bridge. Like we really wanted to get, because my friend knew the spot. Like there's like the generic spot where it's kind of like high up and you see like the bridge like down below, but he knew the spot where it's like right underneath it and kind of thing. And like I said, with us getting there at golden hour was perfect.
Yeah, because the sun coming through.
I literally just saw everything, and I was like, I know what I'm gonna get here. Like this is gonna be fucking cool. And like I actually took my time. Like nobody was rushing me to do anything. I set up the tripod on certain things to make sure everything was super still. But the one thing I didn't do was clean my fucking lens. Like the amount of like post production I had to do to get all these little spots out in the sky was ridiculous. Yeah. It's atrocious. But I mean, yeah, definitely San Francisco. Like really wanted to get the cool shots there.
Yeah.
and it paid off because like those were like some of my favorites. Or even like going into the city and they have like their version of the Flatiron Building, that green one.
Yeah,
that one was like, dude, that was so cool.
I feel like all the shots you got on that, especially with all y'all hanging out in the car, you could put the parental advisory sticker on it, and they'd all be album covers.
That's exactly what I was thinking, dude.
Yeah.
I was like, the one I got of my friend, and he's like, we're like kind of up top. And he's like, he kind of just has like that scolding look over, but it's like San Francisco in the back. And I'm like, dude, that's an album cover right there.
Or a
like,
GTA album cover.
Oh,
like,
yeah, dude. He's about to drop some shit.
Yeah.
My man. But he's completely opposite. He's like the sweetest fucking guy ever. Like, like not even.
No, that's, man, like, that to me, like, that's just fun. Like, to go out and like intentionally try to do those. I guess not to say like the trips that we take as friends aren't like amazing, because I've been able to do some of my best work on those roads, but like I guess we move so much. I was just complaining about how like I don't like when I go on road trips, like I want to stay here for a couple hours, but it's not conducive to like getting photography done. You know what I mean? So I'm a walking contradiction in almost every way possible.
I think we all are a little bit.
I'm left on this and right on this, and then right on this and left on that. It's just always the same. Like
down, side to side.
I always contradict myself, but somewhere there's a true meaning in all my shit. So
there's a little bit of meaning in the chaos.
Filled with snot right now. Fucking hell! But you know, just being on a trip, it's like I want to get more shit. Like when I went to the Terralingua thing, I got to do all the photography I wanted to do, but I didn't have anybody to shoot. And that was kind of like, oh, shit, okay, well, this is the other end of the spectrum. Like, I have all the time to spend up here on top of this mountain to shoot these photos, but now...
What do I do?
Of who? Just my own bike 100 fucking times, you know? So it gets kind of like, okay, this isn't really quite what I wanted, you know? So it's like this... It's like photography is something like you want to share it with people, right? It's like I want to show you how I saw you. You know what I mean?
I want people to see like how I see things, kind of type deal. And then in doing like what you were talking about with like you're going to Terralingua and you see like all like this cool shit, but there's no particular subject to shoot, like a bike or anything like that. I've been in those positions where like I had to force myself to kind of look in a different perspective to see what else I can shoot. Maybe I can get into landscape photography. Maybe I can hit this valley different. I don't know. I don't really see anything right now, but let me try it and see what comes out of it. It may come out good, may come out not, but you never know. Like you gotta expand the horizons a little bit, and that's something I've had to teach myself is like don't be set in like one particular like lane, kind of veer off a little bit, take this exit or
100%.
You know, kind of just, you know, see what else is out there. And I think that's where I've been trying to find like my style and like the things I like to shoot, because I've kind of been like all over kind of type thing. Some of it shows on my Instagram, some doesn't. Like there's a lot of stuff that like I've shot that I haven't never saw the light of day. Like thousands of photos, and it's just like I don't think I want to be that guy.
Yeah, for sure. I shot a photo last Sunday, actually, of a famous theater here in Dallas, right? And the shot came out fire. I printed it. It's amazing. It's probably one of the first prints I'll do that I'll sell. But I've always looked at it like, well, you know, I wanted to get into this with you as far as like the money side of photography and the lack thereof, honestly. When I think about I buy photo books from people that like dabble in the motorcycle world, and that's why I kind of want to do a photo book myself. But like, I want the things I like to shoot. I want to shoot the homies. I want to document the journeys. But I love like these ambient night cityscapes. I like these, you know, there's this one spot in the Talamina that like I envision it in my head so perfectly, and I want to find a way to shoot it. There's a spot where the road literally goes zigzag back across. It's on the closer to Arkansas side where you can look straight down the road, and the road goes out of frame, into frame, out of frame. But it's straight, right?
Yeah.
And I just have this like fall vibes with the fucking leaves coming down and some kind of bike. It doesn't matter what it is. Just kind of in somewhere in that lane. Just capturing that. And that's to me a portrait of that, like long ways, road in the middle, fall leaves, the bike ripping. That's the kind of shit I think someone will buy and put in their house.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
A good size frame, like a picture of my bike. Like, I'm not gonna take a picture of my bike and be like, "Hey, buy a picture of my bike to hang up in your house." Like, it's just a weird. It's like a weird vibe. I don't know.
Yeah.
Some people would probably buy it like a poster or some
Sure.
shit, but
Like
it's
if you
not.
do it as like a limited print kind of thing, like, okay, this is a cool photo I took of this bike. Like if it were like the FXR, like
Yeah.
you don't have that anymore kind of thing. Okay, yeah, sure, that'd be a cool thing. But like normal people like to hang in like their house with their like, you know, it's their feng shui fucking, you know, furniture and everything. It's not really a thing. But with the one that you're talking about with the road and like the bike and everything, okay, yeah, that's pretty fucking cool. Like,
Yeah, I feel like something like that, someone might be willing to get some kind of real estate inside the house instead of the man cave, right?
Somebody told me that, like, if you're looking to take a photo specifically to sell, think about if you could sell that photo in, like, to a hotel or something. Would that look good in, like a Marriott or, like, a Hilton or something like that? Would you be able to see that in there? And if you can't, then don't worry about it. But that's if you have the intent of selling that specific photo to, you know, certain clients or anything like that. But just have that mindset. Like, can you see it in? Would you be able to like walk through a hotel, see that photo, and be like, oh, damn, all right, cool.
Yeah.
If not, then that's not the one. So
yeah,
change
I mean
it
that's
up
that's a good way to look at it because, you know, we were just in Key West and there was a couple of galleries. You know, Peter Lick, you know who that is? Peter Lick had some photos there. Another dude, a couple other people I started following, which I can't pronounce their names because they're all French as fuck. Danielle.
Nice car, Frenchie. I'm British, mate. Yeah, whatever, bud.
But yeah, some of those photos. The thing is, like, we were in those galleries, and Big Trouble and Craig on them will tell you, like, when you're seeing a photo like the size of the Harley Davidson Marlboro Man thing right there, and it's all like on metallic paper and it fucking pops. It's like shit.
Punches
like,
you in the face.
Yeah, like this is the shit I want to put in my fucking house. You know what I mean? Like, if you could find a way to capture that scene, but bring a motorcycle element to it, that's where I feel like that's what I'm trying to figure out how to do. How do I...
Not too crazy, but just enough to where you're like, this is clearly like a motorcycle related photo, but it's not very like...
It's not about the bike as much as it's about the scene, and there happens to be a bike in it.
You want people to be like, what's the story behind this one?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, and that's kind of where I was getting into the mindset of like, all right, it's easy to take a picture of my bike and put it out there, or Cody's bike and put it out there because they're very nice bikes. It's not hard to, like, I don't have to do much to make these look good. They just look good because the bikes look good, right? So how do I make this photo? How do I take a generic bike, a black Road Glide, a black fucking Dyna? You know, how do I make those?
How do you make it pop? How do you make it different from
appeal?
everything else?
Yeah. How do I make the photo so badass, the composition so badass that black Dyna or black Road Glide or black Street Glide or black whatever gets the same kind of attention as our custom painted, you know, all out bikes.
That's where you have the idea coming in about, you know, changing up the scenery a little bit and making it like minimalizing that versus the entire photo.
On top of the fact that, like I said, there's not too many people that are going to be like, I'm sure, like, I can take a badass picture of my bike or Cody's bike or anybody and put it out there, and someone might be like, yeah, I'll buy a $35, you know, 8x10 print of that to hang up it somewhere. But am I going to sell, you know, like, the idea is when you first start taking photos is like, I want to see how many of my homies use my pictures for their profile picture.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
You got to get that. That's step one. And then eventually it gets to the point where how many homes could I have the real estate above the couch? Where can I get the photography I need?
I want my shit on the mantle.
On the mantle.
Take your kids' pictures down. Mine shit goes up there now.
That's scene control.
Scene control.
Fuck them kids.
Or just like how many times you know, like how many, like seeing your work somewhere, like being able to go into Hellbent or something like that and seeing like a shot you did, they blew it up and put it on the wall.
Yeah, exactly.
Like that's kind of where it's like, man, I want to be there. I want to be the guy that, oh, who shot that? Oh, that was Jace. That was so and so, and like that shit feels good.
Yeah, that'd be tight. But you gotta, like I said, you gotta do something a little bit different, something that's not generic. Because like anybody can take these photos with their iPhone, touch it up a little bit in Lightroom or like some third-party app, and make it look halfway decent. Yeah, it's like, okay, let me be a little different.
My man Jaden over here got on a photography kick on bike night last week.
I too am somewhat of a photographer.
I have been known to dabble here and there.
He got an app on his phone, and he was just fucking like, they look cool though. The problem is that like in certain applications, those like apps and stuff can make cool looking photos, right? Or I know myself, I get so snobby, like I will not use a iPhone photo on my profile.
Yeah.
Like, if you go to my Fast Life Visuals, not one of those is taken with an iPhone. And honestly, other than, like, a podcast photo, like somebody's... Like, if I took the photo of them, it's obviously with a camera. But if, like I don't have anything of said subject on the podcast, but they have a cool photo of them, I don't know if it's a professional one or iPhone or whatever.
Sure.
But I try to stay away from all that. So, when you see, like, what he was shooting at our bike night on Tuesday... He was using this app that kind of gave it that kind of vintage worn film-like look. Mm-hmm. But what I think that teaches people how to do is to compose the pictures.
Yeah.
Right? Because the pictures look cool as shit.
See what it can kind of look like with some editing to it. And then if you want to think about it, like, okay, you can compose it just a little bit better. Like change up, your angle a little bit. And then it can look even better with that same filter you just put on there. Kind of type deal. Like,
so I feel like that's a way that people can kind of like get a taste for it because
it's cheating.
Fuck them, cheaters.
Cheaters.
But what he's doing, like what he's essentially doing, is the hard part about photography. Is composition. It's like, all right, I have this app. It's making the whole thing look good, but now I find how does I make this?
Where do
instead
I
of like how do I make the photo look cool to this picture? How do I make the people look cool in this photo I've already created? Like it's already edited. Let's get the right composition, and that's honestly the hardest part about photography.
Oh sure, composition is everything. Like you can have like a completely blown out picture, like just way underexposed, but if it's like a cool like composition, you can just like
oh, it's a vibe.
Just put a fucking black and white filter on it. It's a fucking vibe, baby.
It's a vibe, baby.
It's a vibe, baby. And then you got Caden over there. He's like, relax. I just want to take some pictures.
Yeah, it's Jaden first of all, and dragging to you now. I'm gonna hit you with the real name. No, I guess if anything, I'd maybe look at it training wheels for somebody that's not good at it. Because like you said, like I was using it again, taking some pictures of my aunt's dogs, and all of a sudden I know it's going to look, once you find the effect, I know it's going to look cool. And then, then I'm practicing, okay, where do I line this dog up in this thing to where I can actually get that the chair has these brass things on the side. How do I get that in this too where it looks cool? So, I guess if anything, just kind of like I said, training wheels.
It makes you think about it.
Yeah.
It makes you think about like how it could be better. Whereas most people, they just shoot a photo, put a filter on it, and just send it out into the universe or whatever.
Yeah. That's
and the fact that you're actually thinking about it and everything. I mean, just get
I feel like that's one of those. Everybody loves food. Everybody loves photography. Quote unquote photography.
I'm a foodie.
It's because everybody has a fucking camera on their phone. You know what I mean? It's before then. If you still to be into photography, if you still had to physically go buy film, take it somewhere, have it developed, you'd see a lot less people with photography as their interest in their bios or whatever the fuck.
100%.
It's easy. It's everybody's a fucking photographer now to some extent.
100%, and that's kind of like I'm a victim of that because using the iPhone, I've always had a love for photography, but the first time I ever shot photography was film because my son's mom was going to college to learn how to do photography. And this was like, digital was already prevalent, like it was already the new thing, but they still offered film classes. So she was going to do like darkroom shit, like making prints, enlarging prints.
That's what it was
like
when I was in high school too. They didn't have like the digital part. It was all like you had to shoot film.
And if there's something to that, there's something nostalgic about it.
A little bit, yeah.
Like, you ever see like the tintype photos like people do nowadays?
I'm obsessed. I want one real bad.
I want to get one done. They're just super old style photography that's got like it just has a look to it. It's a tintype. You can look it up.
Okay.
But it's a type of camera that they use. It's kind of, I forget the time frame or year that it was kind of a style.
They look like Civil War though. I want to say there's like a big like flash bulb, like a pop bulb or something. I've seen him done it like a
So
motorcycle,
sick,
like
dude.
Southern Throwdown when it used to be in Deep
Yeah,
Ellum.
yeah.
There's
There's like 2 people here in Dallas that offer it.
yeah, I got a screenshot of when I saw the other day.
And then there's obviously there's a lot of people that like recreate that digitally.
Mm-hmm.
You're like, oh, because we were in Estes Park.
I want the metal one. I want the one you pay for somebody to do in
Yeah.
person, and you take it home and frame it. You know, that's
There's
just
a
something you hang
dude
out.
there's a dude in Houston. He has this. I don't know what kind of camera it is, but it's like an old school, huge box
Yeah.
with like the lens and everything like
seesaws
extends out,
yeah.
and then he has like the
The
little
hood.
thing, the hood that he puts over, but it takes really good crisp like color like photos. But like I was watching him use it at an event one time, like a Lowrider event, and he was telling this girl, do not move for like 10, 15 seconds.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
stay right there. And she kept like laughing and everything. He's like, you just wasted like $30 right there. Like that was $30 fucking piece of
Yeah,
film.
it's a
or
large
whatever.
format camera.
Yeah, I was just like, I've never seen that before. Like
Yeah.
in person, never seen it before. That's wild. And like the stuff that he puts out with that camera, dude,
Yeah.
fire.
When you start, I mean, as a, like I was telling you about the YouTube that I watch, and I've said it a couple times on the podcast, but this is dude, Grainy Days.
I've heard that name before.
I fucking love this dude's YouTube channel. He's like, it's all film, and the dude just pretty much, he has a personality that I think I've told you before, James. He reminds me of James.
Jesus fucking Christ! I guess I'll go fuck myself.
Dude,
I called you James.
You want to do this the rest of the day?
I called you James. Well, I meant to say Jaden. I think I told you before.
Caden and James.
He reminds
I
me
think
of
it's because
James.
I think of your Instagram name. What is it?
Call Me Dragon.
Yeah.
Yeah,
With the K, and I was like, Caden, fuck.
that's all good. I'm used to it.
Don't bust my balls too hard, Daddy. Stop it. Stop it. A little harder, please.
Okay, take it easy.
Yeah, that like seeing this dude like do like he'll do what you guys just did. I think I was telling you earlier, and go on these little road trips with his other homie. They all shoot film together, and they shoot stuff that I'm not really that interested in. Like I'm not interested in shooting. Like they look for abandoned buildings that have no graffiti in it, which is harder to find than most people think.
Sure.
You know,
Depends
but-
on the area.
but he shoots like structures, and then it's like the more I watch his videos, I'm like, oh, that's a cool photo. Like, yeah, it's of a fucking gas station that's ran down and there's nothing going on there, but for some reason I'm vibing with it. You know what I'm saying? And so it starts capturing me in that way. But he just kind of runs through the whole film world of like this different types of film and how they look and what he thinks about it. You know, typical YouTube stuff. But it's just, I don't know, it's just different because I guess, you know, like I said, you don't know what you got until a week or two later when you get it developed. You know what I mean? So I don't know. There's just something about it. It's just fun. It's different. It's fun.
I get that, and some friends of mine they've tried to get me to switch over and get a film camera, dude. Like, oh, I saw this guy. He's selling this Pentax or something. I'm like, I don't think I'm ready, man. I'm not ready for all that like time consuming. But now that I like see more of my friends like doing it and see like the stuff that they come out with, and then that little point and shoot that we had on the trip, and see how those came out, where it's like literally there's 3 settings on it. You don't adjust the. Like, it's a wide angle. That's it. So you just hit it.
So you heard about the Contax T7, I think is what it is.
I think so.
So
It sounds familiar.
basically, it's one of those point and shoot kind of cameras that you would get in like 95, right? You turn it on and the lens pops out. Like it's your typical thing that we would see at our family's Christmas in 1995. Yeah. Well, Kylie Jenner went on to like the Tonight Show or one of those type of shows with that camera.
I want to say, I really hope that that's not the same camera that we
It
have.
might be. So
I
it
don't
was
know.
like one of those cameras, and this camera went from costing $200 to $3,000
Oh, no, this was like a little $30 camera.
because they're all like they don't make them anymore, and they're all used cameras, and everybody had to have this camera that Kylie Jenner
I'm
used.
trying to catch a vibe.
Yeah, and it's fucking crazy. And then like film photography has gotten so much more popular in recent that some film like Leica, who is nothing in, I guess they're a big thing in the digital camera world, but not necessarily in our world of like the Canon, Sony, Nikon, if you will, world. Well, Leica's always sold like these.
Star player for the Mavs, right?
That's Luca. Yeah.
Same thing.
The funny thing is, like, if you ever watch,
Read the room, bro.
yeah, read the room. Do we look like we play sports?
Vertically challenged over here. Thank you.
What was that? A Euro trip. You remember that? Where the nerd guy on the trip, the brother, like, he makes out with his sister after the abs thing. Like, remember that?
I don't know.
I haven't seen the movie in so long, but
Euro trip?
I
Oh,
remember.
dude.
I remember that shit.
So he had a Leica camera, and he goes to the film store, and then because he has a Leica, it's such a trendy camera to have, but it's actually really good. The camera chick wants to blow him, and so he's getting a blowjob behind the camera store, and he gets robbed, and he gives him the camera. It's a funny story.
That's all right. I'm just writing down Leica camera.
Blowjob.
Yeah.
I need
Told
to
you
look
guys I'm getting into photography.
This is for science.
They got to discover the model I'm going to start with.
Going to Amsterdam with the light.
So, but no, what was I saying about that? So a lot of these companies are starting to reintroduce old film cameras that have gotten so popular. So Leica just reintroduced a camera they stopped making like 20 years ago, and they're starting to sell it again. And these are $5,000 film cameras, right? That you still didn't have to buy a lens for. Like, it's not like I'm gonna go spend $5,000 and then
Just
go
have
shoot
everything
with
right
it.
then and
No,
there.
no. $5,000 plus this and this and this, and it to me, it's always been crazy how wide the spectrum is of how people make money with photography, because we've all spent tons of money in photography. And I'm not even close. It'd take 10 years for me to ever make anything close to what I've spent, but I've enjoyed all those purchases because it's gave me, like, it's like buying a bike, right? Like, you have fun. Like, you got 20 grand invested in this bike, or 30 or 40 or whatever, but you use it so much that you don't really think about the fact that you have money invested and you need to get it back. You're like,
You're
no,
just
I'm
having fun with
enjoying
it.
this thing.
Absolutely.
So
Slowly racking up credit card debt, like in camera lenses and drones and stuff right now, but I'm having fun using them, and the stuff that I'm creating with my friends with that gear, priceless. Love
100%,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
It is priceless. Yeah.
Very much so. But I didn't use the fucking drone on the trip. I brought it with me, didn't pull it out once.
Dude, I got a drone under a
Shit's hard. Though.
rag over there I haven't touched.
It's not even, I mean, I bought the Mavic Mini 3 Pro or whatever. Super easy, compact. It was just like, I don't know, it just wasn't fitting the vibe that we were like just kind of having. And I was just like, damn, I kind of wish I would have brought out the drone, do like some PCH shots, early morning, sunrise kind of thing. But it was just like, nah. It's all
Yeah.
good. But now I know for next time, because I got a nice little camera bag for it, and specifically for it now.
Yeah.
So it's not hiding underneath everything else.
Yeah, I got to dig it out. Well, I think for me, the reason I don't ever use the drones is because I got to take my phone case off.
Oh, I bought the one with the screen.
I need
dude.
the one with the screen. I probably use
That
it
thing's
more.
bitching.
I just want to fucking use it, man. I've already crashed into it twice, using it.
I crashed it once at Born Free.
Into a bike?
No.
That's what I did, into a bike.
Oh,
Were
really?
you there with us that time?
I think so.
I think I ran it into Kyle's bike.
That's good. I'm glad.
Fuck that guy.
I'm upping my Patreon by a couple
I was
dollars.
waiting for it. Fuck that guy.
Yeah.
It's too bad you weren't aiming for it.
Yeah.
No,
No, it was like coming. It was a slow motion, like what was it, Austin Powers, where they're like the guy's like and it's far away, or the gazebo, or not gazebo, what do they call him in hockey?
The Zamboni.
Zamboni was
And
coming.
it's like super slow, and
Yeah.
it's just like,
It was one of
go
those
take a
deals
piss
where
real quick.
I think it was right around the time we were building all the studio shit, and Kyle was out here. I want to say Kyle was here, and Brad was here. And Brad, I was like, hey, Brad, let's go down the street to this little area, and I'll get the drone out, and you can do some wheelies. See if I can, like, track it or anything like that. And we did some back and forth, and it got to this point where it was over there by us, and, like, I had no idea how to control this motherfucker. And it was slow motion going straight for Kyle's goddamn fucking fairing. Slow. And I'm like, it starts hitting the fairing. I don't do it, so I just drop the shit and I run over there and grab it.
Just drop it and run away.
Yeah. I dropped the controller and just grabbed the fucking drone, and once you grab it, it kind of like stops or whatever. But that's just
too
weird.
funny.
I've had it on. I've been trying to sell that drone after I just announced that I crashed it. I didn't crash it in the ground. I just Fucked up the propellers.
$3,000. Don't try and lowball me. I know what I
I
got.
know what I got. Barely used. Only wrecked once. Now I was trying to sell it for the longest because I never touched it, man. Like, it's a Mavic 2 Pro. It's got a Hasselblad camera on it,
Whew, girl, you fancy.
and
Look at you.
just don't ever use it. I didn't fit in the bike.
I know Sax was saying that he was trying to pick it up from you, but he moved.
So, to be fair, this is how Sax likes to pick shit up from people.
Yeah.
Let me make $50 payments on it for the next 2 years, and at that point, it's almost like I blow $50 at a gas station. So
Yeah.
it's like you don't feel like you actually make the money off the deal.
Yeah.
So I gave him a fair offer. I said, save up $500 and I'll let you pay the rest off. That way, at least I get one chunk of money that I can actually
Sure.
put towards something I need to pay for.
Mm-hmm.
And then, yeah, the whole saving thing doesn't apply to like people in their under the 30s. Huh?
You talking to my guy all wrong.
It's the wrong song. You do it again, I'm gonna crash my drone into your fairing.
Oh man, but I've totally wanted to get it out more, but I never think about it. And usually it's like by the time I want to get it out, it needs an update. It's got a firmware update and shit like that. And I'm like, fuck, all the batteries are dead. And I'm like, god damn it. So
Camera's bad. Everything's gone straight to jail.
yeah,
Fuck it.
I don't know, man. If one of the homies wanted to learn how to use it, I'd be more than willing to loan it to them until they figure it out, and then they
Sure.
can pay me $50 a month. You know,
There you go.
I had the DJI Phantom Pro for a long time.
that was a big bad boy, right? Yeah, with
Little thickums.
you couldn't actually fold that one up.
No, you had to
Shove
have
it
a
in
full case dedicated to that shit. Now everything's so compact now.
Flying, I was showing my dad one night at my house, and I was flying it, and I got like 140 feet in the air. I was like, shit, we're good. I was like, flying to the gas station down the road, just kind of showing.
Let me scope the town a little bit.
Bitch hit a fucking radio tower,
Oof.
and I didn't even know it was there. No blinking lights on it or nothing, and it fucking just screen went black, and I was like, what the fuck? You know, it's got GPS, so
Yeah.
I went and found it, and I was like, motherfucker.
And it's
a
way-
radio tower like this big, like just straight up.
And it's like up
And
in
I
it.
was 140 feet in the air. I was like, I'm clear of everything. You know?
Yeah.
Fuck, it ruined that motherfucker.
I always was worried, like if like you fly it around bigger birds, like out in the middle of nowhere, and there's like fucking big.
The buzzards and shit.
They're
That's
like,
a good.
oh.
That's a good YouTube wormhole. Is animals attacking drones
For
out in
real?
the wild? Oh yeah, yeah. All
Shit,
kinds of
like,
all
he
kinds
was
of
fucking
stuff.
Snatching them motherfuckers.
I've
They
never
think
even
it's
seen that.
like a smaller bird. It's prey or something.
I've seen
Oh
like
shit,
a-
this motherfucker's slow. I'm gonna
like
get this.
like a wildebeest. There was like a big herd running, and it was just over their backs. A real sick shot, and this one jumped up and just smashed it with his head, destroyed it.
I think I can get that close. That's a POV drone, right? No.
Yeah, we found out the hard way. You can't like fly drones in national parks.
Oh, I remember hearing that story.
Yeah.
I got fucked on that one.
We almost did.
Yeah.
We almost did. Fortunately, Jacob, we were nice guys, and they just let us off. But we could have had to do a court appearance.
Yeah, I heard.
When I say we, I mean Jacob. We
I
would
was like-
we would have been in the next town.
I
Hey,
heard
bro.
that there was some other contraband on said trip that didn't get searched or whatever. Somebody had weed. Somebody had a gun. Somebody had,
Oh yeah.
Jacob always got
and they were just like, all they were worried about was the drone.
Yeah.
But didn't care about anything else. Like,
Yeah.
That sounds
Okay.
about right. Yeah, Jacob did have a gun. I think Jacob, yeah, and then that's when Kenny and Zach was still on the trip with us, so they had at least a pound of weed,
Yeah,
you know. And
there's enough pot at that campsite to kill an adult male bison.
this will blow a hole in an elephant's ass. Oh, that's funny. I'm gonna hit that here in just a minute too. Done broke the seal probably about like 45 minutes ago. It's all good, baby. We're good. No, I've been like randomly I'll pop up and I'll watch like old like Fast Life stuff and like all these fucking stories like when all y'all get together and everything kills me, dude. Jesus Christ. I feel like I hear like wieners and buttholes every other 5 minutes.
Depending on
But I want to be a part of it. I want to be there.
depending on the story. Yeah,
Right? For real.
Man, I'm digging these lowrider shots on your page.
That 67 Impala.
That's the exact one.
I shot that right when I got, or I think it was either right before or right after I got back from that trip. And my homie just hit me up last minute. Hey man, like I'm down the street from your house. You want to come shoot this? I'm like, sure, why not? I'm not doing anything. And it just, I don't know, it was fucking cool as shit. And the guy was like super nice. And then I get next to it. I'm like, this is a fucking clean ass car, dude. Like stupid clean. And I was like, ugh. I love it.
We've got a pretty decent lowrider scene in Dallas, and we've got this thing on. And it's kind of weather permitting. They don't really do it. The weather just sucks. But this place over in Oak Cliff, Jefferson Boulevard, on Sundays.
My friends talk about that a lot. They usually make the trip from Houston up here for that show every year.
It's so fun to go down there. There's a couple just badass Mexican food restaurants, or you can eat beforehand and just go down there. And it truly is like a family event where families all ages. You got grandchildren and grandparents. People kind of post it up, whether they're walking around and munching on stuff or just drinking beers. And a lot of people are just sitting there, cars backed in, hatchback open, and they're just watching these cars. They go by. I've been down there a handful of times and never. I'm sure people maybe there's an issue, but every time I'm down there, it's just the coolest vibe. So sick, but man, you can walk up all you want, walk up and down.
Oh yeah,
everybody's cool about taking pictures and stuff like that.
100%. There's a couple dudes in Houston that they run events like that every so often. They'll get everybody in the lowrider scene from Houston, some people from Dallas or San Antonio or anything. They just come out there and they just post up, and it's just it's more family oriented.
Yeah.
So like people bring their kids and stuff out there, and then you have every Sunday down in Sunnyside area, like South Houston, and they call it Slab Sunday, and it's just swangers, lowriders, everything. And they shut down the roads. They're doing like this weaving thing out there.
Yeah.
Ooh, it gets hood and ratchet, but it is just a whole. Oof. It's fun.
Yeah.
Oh, this guy, big film guy over here.
The Jefferson Boulevard cruise is.
Yeah.
I wouldn't take.
I haven't been to that yet, but I've heard my friends talking about it, and they said whenever they make that run, like this coming up year or whatever, definitely want to go to that.
Yeah, it's worth it. Like I said, when the weather's good, it's pretty much an every Sunday kind of thing, and then they do their quarterly, every couple months they'll do a big party in like the park. They had one recently. We had all that smoking good weather in like October. Yeah, they had a big one there that I barely missed. Kano's into that shit too. Seems like Waco and Waxahachie. He's into the C10s.
So they do the C10s in the park here in Waxahachie in this town, and
okay, it's my turn to go now. Oh.
That when they're in town, dude, every fucking parking lot, Buffalo Wild Wings, it's just fucking like a car show everywhere you go.
Yeah,
it's so nice. Yeah, it's wild. But
I'm more in like the square body C10s, like the 80. I'd like to have like 88 both years.
77, baby. I love those.
I'd just like to have an old truck. I think Craig's truck is sick. Just it's probably $70 something.
The fact that it's Craig's truck, I don't like it.
Yeah, but just something. There's a bunch of old Fords that I think are badass.
The F-100s are dope.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I think whenever I get to doing another car, like if I ever get back into cars, like the number one thing I have to say I owned is the Grand National. I've had 2 of them not running. I've never had one on the road. So, and then Chip or Mikey, I can't remember which one. San Diego Customs has one that's so fucking sick. And every once in a while, y'all see what's the comedian Kevin Hart? Y'all ever see his? Mm-mm. Oh, dude, it's so fucking badass. Kevin Hart's Grand National. Dude,
that rap group Run the Jewels, they're giving away. Was it Killer Mike? I think is the big dude of the group. He's got one that they're giving away. I saw it on Instagram the other day. It's some contest you enter, but he's giving it. Looks super sick.
Yep.
Apparently, it was his personal car that he's given up.
You know what's weird? Talking about the photo prints and everything like that.
Oh, I sent you that 10 type. They're in Waco, that place I saw that. I both sent you that profile. Y'all can look at it when you want.
So, like, I can take a picture of any situation in like a Grand National, and 1 million people will buy that print. It's a car, right? But it's not painted up to where like that's Jace's Grand National. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's like the one thing about the bike world that makes it kind of harder to kind of transcend into, you know, something that everybody would be willing to have. You know what I'm saying? Other than like, if I was to take pictures of my bikes, but there was a naked chick on it, then that would sell. Obviously, like the Thrashing poster up there, which is not a great photo, but it's like we don't look at that because it's a great photo. It's just like,
It's just boobs.
yeah, it's just massive.
Or even like the
Can we just have a moment of silence real quick?
the book fair posters you would get, like it would just be a completely stock like Lamborghini Countach.
Yeah.
But
But
it would
when
just
you're
be
a
on a
kid,
sick
it's
like,
just
oh
like
dude, those are the those are the fucking dopest. But like it was on a generic black background or something. And
Yeah.
Clearly photoshopped, but it's just like you're a kid and you're like, oh, putting out my wall. I'm a car guy now.
I remember I had this poster of like it was like a chick in a bikini, but it had like a big Men at Work sign, and she was just posing by the thing. And I was like, y'all gonna let me have this at 12 years old in my room?
Is this
So,
a
yeah.
trap? Feels like a trap. I'm about to do it though.
I'm going to bed. I'm gonna leave the light on so I can see the wall.
Doors cracked too.
Yeah. Ran out of flashlight batteries again.
What are you doing in there? I never know what you're doing. Dude, me and my wife watched Wedding Crashers the other day. Like we did that
funny.
podcast
Still holds up.
with Chuck and Z last week, and they talked about movies. They just watched old movies together. Like they picked something, and I was like, let's watch an old comedy we've already seen before.
Mm-hmm.
And so we watched Wedding Crashers, and I just forgot how fucking funny that is. Dude, classic lines. Did you motorboat? You motorboat. You motorboating son of a bitch.
I put a Point Break on the other day.
Dude, I was just thinking that.
Literally just to put something on while
Uh-huh.
like the last like 4 minutes of getting ready, and then I was gonna walk out. And I'll be damned if I didn't sit there and watch like 35 minutes before I was like,
Old
damn, I'm
Keanu
late, I gotta
Reeves?
go.
And Patrick Swayze just, oh, hell yeah, bro.
Oh,
Like,
Gary
sweet
Busey.
cell, bro.
Gary Busey's so good in that.
Yeah.
Whatever happened to him? Didn't he die or something?
No, he's still alive.
Isn't he?
Yeah, he went.
Looking haggard as fuck.
He went off. Yeah, went wheels off for a while.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Must have been one of those Kardashian women or something.
No, they don't fuck with Gary Busey types.
It's like a scary Ron White or something. Like, always, I feel like always has a
get
cigar.
Gary
And,
Busey and Nick Nolte mixed up a lot, all the time.
oh, yeah.
It's weird.
The,
Like the same dude.
Nick Nolte went real off. I think wheels off too for a while. Nick Nolte was the coach in Blue Chips.
Remember
Movie
that?
with Shaq.
Anthony Hardaway, Shaq.
Nah, he's been in some other stuff, a bunch of other stuff. And Gary Busey was just kind of wild. I feel like he's been in a bunch of shit too, but I feel like Point Break was always his number one.
Yeah. Because he had like the real dramatic death at the end. Like,
Yeah.
oh, I got shot in the back.
Spoiler
No.
alert. Sorry,
And then
guys.
Keanu Reeves like, no. No, I watched that the other day and I was like, damn, I forgot how fucking good that movie was. That and Roadhouse. Watched that the other day.
You were just talking about this the other day, how you were like being told to watch Roadhouse because you're a bouncer now.
Yeah. So, well, it was kind of like a homework project. He wanted all the security guys to watch Roadhouse, and he was
That's the standard.
he was like,
If you're not Patrick Swayze sitting up against that bar drinking coffee, we
Yeah.
don't want you.
He's like, there's a lot of life lessons that still apply to the bar industry that I still carry with me. And I watched it. It's a pretty bad movie. It's
not the
entertaining
best.
at parts. Bunch of titties in it. So,
That was the 80s, bro. They knew what we wanted.
yeah, Patrick Swayze doing karate shirtless by the pond.
We wanted that.
We wanted to be that. Like,
Yeah.
That's how I'm going to get chicks. I need to start doing fucking judo or some shit.
Yeah, I
Hey,
went a little Dalton on the guy the other day. Grabbed him by the shirt, pushed him out of the bar. But yeah,
Love it, dude.
Roadhouse wouldn't recommend it.
No, not at all. But when it pops up on Netflix,
so you come
you're
the
like,
next
yeah,
day
sure.
and go like, all right, stand back. I'm going to show you what I learned from Roadhouse.
And I got my hair feathered on the sides. I'm ordering coffee.
Doing roundhouse kicks for no reason.
Or, yeah, practicing.
What's Jaden doing over there?
karate.
He's like, oh, he's watched Roadhouse one time.
Why's he shadowboxing that pillar over there? Because you never know.
Why is he talking to the bars around us like he's investigating on this situation? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like trying to find a conspiracy theory going on.
You guys ever get into Family Guy?
Oh hell yeah! I couldn't tell you like season 1 through ever.
Oh no, but there I just specifically remember the one episode that they modeled after Roadhouse, and like Peter watches it, and then he just goes around and starts kicking everything, and after every time he kicks something, he's like Roadhouse.
Roadhouse was always one of those movies that I knew I was supposed to watch it, and it somehow just slipped through the cracks. And then Ron White had a bit where he's talking about getting kicked out of a bar, and he tells the bouncer, "Why don't you go jerk off to Roadhouse or something?" And I'd never seen the movie up to then, and at that point I was like, I'm never going to take this movie serious again. That's like the best one-liner ever. At this point, I'm still hoping somebody says it to me one day at Crowdus. Like, I tell them, "Oh man, your ID's expired," and they're like, "Dude, just go jerk off to Roadhouse or something. Let me in." Like, fuck, you got me. Come on in.
Come on.
I'm actually buying your first round.
Next guy comes up, he tries to do the same thing. Not gonna work this time.
Yeah.
Oh, dude.
That was a one-shot Johnny.
Yeah, that was just I don't know, man. Like some of those older movies have been fucking awesome to go back and check out and whatnot, and just remember.
It's surprising
what
how
it was
many
like
of
to
them
laugh.
I'm seeing like on Netflix and Hulu and stuff. They're trying to pop back up again. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh shit, I forgot about that one. Like, I mean, it's not like super crazy, but Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Haven't seen that in years, and it popped up on Netflix the other day.
Which
I'm
one?
like, the original one with Gene Wilder. Like, I was like, I'm gonna watch that again. I'm like, man, I felt like a kid again for a minute. And I'm like, all right, I'm back done. Back to YouTube channels and stuff.
I was watching something the other day, and it held up, but then I was also laughing because I was like, they couldn't fucking make this now, and I forget what it was. It was they wouldn't make this. Whoever was in it was big enough where I was like, there's no way they would take this role, and this like they just wouldn't even make these same jokes, which to me makes the movie even better. When like a Tropic Thunder, that's something I was thinking.
That's who
of.
I was talking
But
about. I was trying to think of who
yeah.
I was thinking about the other day. And somebody brought up Tropic Thunder with what's the guy? He played
Robert Downey Jr.
Robert Downey Jr. Like him playing a black dude and everything.
Yeah.
Would not go nowadays.
Yeah.
But like they did it so beautifully that it was
it's
just
hilarious.
hilarious. I loved it. Still one of my
If you ever
favorite
go
movies.
back and watch that movie, like he does so well in that you feel like this dude deserves an Oscar. And I think he got nominated for an Oscar for that role, but he didn't end up winning it. But it was one of those things that he did so well in that role playing that he actually got a lot of accolades for it. So
When they did the whole "you people," what do you mean? What do you mean, you people? That shit, just the stare off they have, dude. I lose my shit every time. I think about it.
I'm just a dude playing a dude disguised as another dude.
oh shit, that movie's so
This
good.
black on black crime ain't happening right now. We gotta stand together. What you mean?
Well, even him in Due Date, like Robert Downey Jr. can play it. It's funny how movies can take somebody who is not a comedian, and if they're a good actor, they can lean into the whole comedic role so fucking well. And he does that, man. Like Due Date is one of the
It's
funniest
just
movies
like
ever.
I've seen him in like interviews and stuff, like on like Jimmy Kimmel and everything like that. That's just him. He's just kind of like a weird, kind of like awkward kind of dude, and it's hilarious.
Yeah.
and it plays into his roles. I'm like, that works.
Yeah,
really
he
good.
could never get up and do 30 minutes of stand up on his own. But you have other people write funny shit for you. He can say it and deliver it in a comedic way, in a way that it is funny.
Yeah. 100%. You don't remember what the movie was you were watching?
Man, I can't think of what it was, but it was something I was like, man, they fucking not make this. Today.
Year
This is
frame,
great.
time frame.
Like early 2000s or late 90s, something that we kind of grew up in. Like
American Pie.
it was in that range. The American Pie,
Van
the
Wilder?
road trip. No,
Sex Drive.
Sex Drive
That
was
was
so
that
good,
was
dude.
a funny one, dude.
See our dicks from space.
What's up? What's up? What's up?
Those dudes,
Got some
man.
lotion for your tits. Their ability to open is legendary, but they can't close for shit.
I watched recently somewhere. I don't remember where it was at, but we watched with somebody fucking Hot Tub Time Machine, and
Okay.
fucking awesome movie. I
Yeah.
love that movie so much, and just I don't know, just anytime when people have to go back and I don't know, like those kind of vibes always it's funny to me when they remake a whole genre of like a scene. And then apparently in that movie, Hot Tub Time Machine, the dude that plays like Bucky Barnes, what's his name? He's like the Winter Soldier and shit like that.
I wouldn't know his name. I'm pretty good at that usually, and I don't know his name in
Yeah,
real
but
life.
he was like the protagonist. I
Yeah.
guess is what they call him in that movie. And it's also weird when you look back at some of these movies that are not that old to us, But then you see the actors that were kind of like not necessarily the main actors, but maybe supporting actors, whatever. And like now their movie stars bigger than the people that were in the movies. Is weird.
Yeah. I was watching an episode of The Sopranos, and there was a chick who plays just a roommate or girlfriend of a roommate. She's barely on screen. And I was like, where have I seen that chick? She ended up being, which, HBO, they'll do a lot of that. They can't, the same people using their stuff. She ended up being the dude's wife in, not Peaky Blinders, the other old, Boardwalk Empire.
Oh,
The Jimmy kid, the blonde kid, it was his wife that ended up, I guess she ended up going gay or whatever. But
Yeah.
I was like, that's that same broad from.
I know her.
I know her.
Is that my mom? Oh shit.
Yeah, man. I don't know. It's how do we get talking about fucking movies, man?
Your last podcast, they were talking about movies that they had recently watched.
Oh yeah.
You talked about watching Wedding Crashers with Britta.
Oh yeah. So I don't know, man. Those old movies are awesome.
No, they're great. And then like in going to like some of these old movies, like when I go back and rewatch them, because I try and dabble in like the videography stuff.
Yeah.
And I try and see like this, like I notice the styles of things now, or like, how things were shot in different angles and everything. Because I put out a recent YouTube video of me trying to work on my bike, like just changing out like the fork seals and stuff, and trying to, like, I don't know, like, like vloggers and stuff, they'll like set up different angles and you can see that they're doing like, it's the same thing, but in a different angle.
Yeah.
And then that they're just going back and redoing it, but then setting up the camera differently. Try and doing stuff like that.
Yeah.
And trying to make it look kind of like cinematic or whatever. So I try and do that, but then when I go back and watch videos or movies or YouTube videos or whatever, I pay attention to that stuff now.
Yeah.
And I start noticing it in old videos that like maybe I thought that were just like funny, or like old movies, they're just funny, or maybe action packed or anything like that. And I'll look at them like, damn, how did they shoot that? Like,
Yeah.
what was the angle on that, or like what were the settings on that camera or something like that?
Well, the way you would frame a shot in like a movie or whatever is the same way you frame a shot for photography.
Exactly, but it can be like a little bit different as well
Yeah.
too. Like,
so the way they shoot comedy is different than the way they shoot dramas. Like there's a whole science to all that stuff where it's like this is the recommended way to shoot something with this emotion.
sure.
Which sounds weird to say, but that's the way it is. Like,
And then you get
the
stuff
way The
from-
Godfather shot is not
Yeah.
going to be the way Wedding Crashers is shot. You know
And
what
then
I'm
you
saying?
get like people like Quentin Tarantino that just doesn't
Yeah.
give a fuck about anything. He just shoots it, and it just ends up being like the greatest movie ever.
Some people can wear headsets, man.
Hey man,
You
it's
know,
all good.
Bluetooth headsets. Black dudes can just pull it off. Not everybody can. Tarantino is the white dude with a headset. He's just got it.
His tism just hits differently
Tism.
than ours. He's got that tism.
But like those kind of things make and break. They create emotion and like capture to things. So like, it's the same reason why we started doing these podcasts, trying to change the lighting, because the lighting alone makes the
It changes
vibe
the mood,
differently.
yeah.
Right. And when you do that, it makes it more engaging. It's the same reason why like there's so many YouTube videos. Like you brought up Peter McKinnon before. Peter McKinnon is like the master at making a video that even if you don't give a fuck about what he's talking about,
Like just of him in his room talking.
you're like, I can listen to this dude talk about anything in the world all day long because he just, the video's good, the audio's good, the lighting's good, the vibe is good. I'm fucking, what do you 2 Minute Tuesday, what are you talking about? You know what I mean?
I don't
And
know.
next thing you know,
I don't really care about that, but I mean, like I'm invested.
yeah, it's like, oh, this dude fucking put some effort into it. So
He did a whole video about like lighting in itself.
Yeah.
How it changes everything, because he did like that exact same video with literally just like his window light or whatever, like
Yeah.
from outside. And it was like, oh, okay, that's kind of cool. And then he uses all like the big production lights and stuff, and it's just like, yeah, like now I'm engaged. I can see you. I can see like everything that's going
Yeah.
on. It just looks more
Well, you
inviting.
use light to stage something. So like, obviously the way I wanted it to here, and I've been struggling because the room is small and you don't have a lot of space between here and the wall. So if I put a spotlight on me, you'd cast a major shadow here. So it's just weird how you're trying to create an ambiance with lighting to where, yes, when people see a camera angle of like you, they see the stuff behind you, but it's not lit the
Overpowering.
same way that you're lit. And it's still tough because you have, I can't put any cameras right here or any lights right here because they'll be in the camera shot. And if I bring that one lower, it'll be in the wide shot. and then there's obviously this big dome right here, which it does well. But like when people like when you have a hat forward, it creates a shadow on your face, which you can probably see on the camera.
Trying to be mysterious. Right
Yeah, we get it. You fish,
dude. I found this out on the side of the road.
Yeah, we get it. You're thrift.
So let's so because I work at kind of like a hip hop bar, I'm a little bit more privy to some trends that I probably wouldn't have been say like
The way you're saying it, though.
9 months ago. And anyways, in the black community, man, the Bass Pro shops they're hot. I've seen a dude in the bar pay a bartender $70 for the hat on his head, and he was like, "Dude, I bought this hat for like $15 at Bass, like over in Garland. Like, there's a whole store, like
Yeah.
But apparently, it's a very trendy thing.
It's a trend now. Like I was wearing them because like I like the way they fit. Like I have a big ass head, especially when I have like a bunch of hair and stuff, and it just fits nice. And I never had them again. I was like, I don't need to go get one. And then I was riding home one day, and I literally just see it on the side of the road. And I pull over, I pick it up, and I mean, it was damn near brand new. But I mean, I've gotten all greasy and everything. But
Yeah, I don't think I had one since.
But yeah,
10th
no,
grade.
I've seen like a lot of people wearing them now because they're trendy and shit. I'm
Yeah.
like, God damn, I gotta burn this thing now. Fuck.
Yeah.
It's like
I
same
mean,
thing
fuck
with
that,
like
sell it.
Carhartt and everything. Like I've had my Carhartt beanie. Like I've had multiple Carhartt beanies like throughout my whole life just because they're comfortable and they're like thick.
Yeah.
And now it's like a whole fucking trend thing, which I mean,
Yeah.
it is what it is. I'm not gonna stop wearing comfortable clothes because like all the hipsters want to wear them and everything.
I can't afford Carhartt.
Dude, they're cheap, man. What are you talking about? Like about the same price that like I pay for like, you know,
How much is that shirt?
$20.
Whew. Whew. I do that.
I paid $30 for a Fast Life shirt at the Board Free. What you mean? And you know what? I rock that shit every day.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
It's
Well,
a
I didn't
comfortable
say
shirt.
I didn't
Quality
say
shirts,
that
man.
I don't sell very high end shirts. I just say that I can't afford them. No, I do those like subscription shirts where you pay like $40 a month.
Oh yeah,
And you
I've
get,
heard those
like-
are pretty good.
Yeah, I'm wearing one now, dude. I fucking love them. They fit great, and it's $40 a month. You know what I'm saying? But like
How many shirts you get with that? though?
3.
Oh, yeah, that's fair.
So Carhartt, that's what I was double checking. Carhartt had a thing last January where they mandated all their employees to get vaccinated, which I know some of that's probably shit rolls downhill from the federal government, and they were feeling the squeeze. But I do remember that being in the news the last year. There was a little, people
Yeah,
trying
because
to.
their audience isn't quite on the vaccine.
Oh
passport
yeah,
kind of
yeah.
vibe.
So they were trying to be a little boycott, but I think the what is it? Their claim to fame is their shit works.
Yeah.
It's functional.
Yeah.
Their outerwear is probably the best. Like as far as like bib overall.
Oh, yeah, their bibs are
jackets, like,
insane.
They're so good.
I just like because I mean, it just.
But no,
fits
go ahead.
nicely.
Keep supporting companies that don't support freedom. That's
Yeah,
cool.
It's okay. I'm okay with that. Fuck it.
I'm sorry. I thought this was America. But okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. I
I
thought this was America.
I guess me and George Washington go fuck ourselves.
It's probably made in China.
Where's that tag at?
Oh man, how much do you like? Have you watched how like things have changed? Just like TV culture, right? Like, have you noticed like the trends change when Yellowstone came out, and how you even seen a lot of the chopper scene become more cowboys?
Kinda, yeah. I
Or
mean,
just in general, more people are like, yeah, I guess I will dust off that cowboy hat and start wearing it again.
it's like the whole thing with like turquoise jewelry. Like it becomes like a thing when like
Yeah.
all these like hipster like Instagram chicks start wearing it and everything. And like I have friends that like grew up in like New Mexico and like around like the
Like the
traditional,
mines, yeah.
like the traditional like Navajo culture and everything, and that's just part of their
Yeah.
life. And so like when other people see it, it's like, oh, you're just where'd you pick that up from? Like my grandmother gave this to me, dude. What do you mean? Like, so yeah, I mean, it kind of like as I guess society progresses or whatever, like all these trends start coming along, and it's like, I mean, yeah, it's cool. Yeah, I guess.
I mean, it's probably good for the turquoise industry.
Yeah, I mean, good for them. You know.
Yeah, when I think of turquoise, and if I've been in those rock shops with my wife before, and I'm like, bored out of my mind. I'm like, Rambo wore turquoise. He had a turquoise teardrop necklace.
See, that's the mindset that we have, but then you have all
I
of
fuck with that, dude. If I can get a turquoise necklace and a Bowie knife,
say less.
Who
Talk to
has
me.
to-
Who could stop you?
that also on the butt end of the Bowie
Roadhouse.
knife
Start kicking people.
has a compass, bro.
I have one of those. It was my dad's. It's sitting in my garage right now.
You pull that knife out like this big. It's got is it serrated blades? Is that what they call it? When you got
It's a
saw
serrated
on the-
edge on the back of
It's
it.
got a compass right there, and it's green wrapped because it's military as fuck.
Oh yeah,
right,
100%.
Bro,
turquoise necklace.
they try to come get you. They better send in some more body bags.
Better, yeah, whatever.
He walks into a room. This guy fucks. This guy's ready to go.
I stole the knife at him.
You should go as Rambo though. When just somehow get the hair and do a red thing, and then just shirt off, maybe some cut off like camo pants, some cargo pants, and like you said, your big fucking compass knife
and a turquoise necklace
Yeah.
teardrop.
Oh, that's too good.
no tan, no nothing. Don't do anything to prepare for it body wise. Just straight up as you are.
Paint your ads on.
Airbrushing. It's crooked. He goes this way. My arm goes that way.
It's a 10-pack. No big deal.
Man, you know, well, what I mean by saying about the Yellowstone stuff is that it's clear that like Sons of Anarchy like influenced our culture as well, right? It influenced the way some people dressed. You saw it happen. You saw the dudes wearing
Air Force Ones and
Air
jeans.
Force. Well, but I mean at the same time, it's like everybody like a flannel has been worn by everybody at some point in their life, right? That's 100% of a fact, right? But has it been part of everyday culture the way that people like in the Midwest? If you go to certain parts of Texas, then yes, a flannel has been a part of their culture a lot, but not in the summertime.
No.
We don't wear flannels in summer. It gets hot as fuck here. But we wear Dickies, though, a lot. I mean, almost like prevalently, especially people I know growing up in any kind of like trade, we've worn Dickies. It's always been a part of our life. I'm not a Vans guy. I became a Vans guy at some point in my life. I didn't grow up wearing Vans. I thought they were cheap shoes because I wanted Air Maxes and things like that, right?
Sure.
But so there's these certain things that like happen, and then like I feel like, you know, TV tries to emulate a culture that actually already exists. It's not like TV's creating something that doesn't already exist. They have to mimic their characters off something that's actually already in existence. But they paint these characters in a way that's so badass. Like they make Rip look like he's such the baddest motherfucker alive that men start to want to be and dress like Rip, not just on Halloween, right? And so it's like the next thing you know, you got all these dudes who are like, I'm thick like him. Fuck it, I'm gonna wear this. I look just like hell yeah. The girls like. And then you got bitches trying to be like Beth now and stuff like that, where they're like being a little too mouthy.
Calm down, bitch. Check your ass quick.
Easy, babes.
So it's funny how you get old enough to where you really in real time can see how TV culture and just like pop culture in general can really transcend into the scene. And I know that everybody's like, you're being a hypocrite. You just said that TV emulates what's already there. I'm like, yeah, it's there in a small market, but TV's exploiting it.
Art imitates life, imitates art, kind of thing.
Exactly.
And I also have a theory on the Western thing. Is I think anybody down here, whether you're from here or you move here, I think at some point, especially the guys, it is very typical for dudes to have like a Western, he's gone country kind of thing. Where
he's gone country.
whether you were raised in it, you got away from it or whatever. At some point, I think it kind of clicks. If you've never done it, you know it looks cool. You kind of want to do it. And at some point, you hit that age where you don't care. You're not worried about people making fun of you. People do reinvent their style, and a lot of guys have a phase where they go a little country. And if nothing else, maybe it's just to appease the wife, and you have a couple nice pairs of jeans, and it's to go to the stockyards once or twice a year to go, you know what I mean, go to a concert or whatever the fuck. But I do see a lot of guys that at some point they go a little bit more Western than
You would,
yeah, and fuck it, I'm not against. As long as you're not trying to pretend you're Lane Frost or something like, yeah, dude. Like, who do I give? What do I give a fuck? Don't make fun of me. I'm a dork too, but I won't make fun of you. But I think that does happen a lot here. And some people maybe you moved from Michigan. You've wanted to be a cowboy your whole life. You get down here, all of a sudden you're like, I can fucking blend in. Like nobody's gonna call me out. I can wear my cinch jeans and my fucking my ropers and go on a quick trip, and nobody's going to call me out. You know, as if I was in Michigan.
That's fair. I mean, like I said, it's weird because like I'm not really trying to talk shit about it. I guess I am in a way, but I'm not not badgering anybody for it because I guess I envy the fact that somebody can just be like, you know what? I'm going to change everything the way I look about who I am. And then tomorrow I'm coming to work in a different outfit. And you're just like.
Sometimes people need that. Sometimes people need to change. Like my life has not been like what I wanted it to be kind of thing. Maybe I need to just start with a simple change of clothes to kind of, you know.
You're exactly it.
Emulate like what, you know.
Constantly improving or changing, you know what I mean? They're changing yourselves.
And that goes like hand in hand with photography and anything creative also. Like you change up your style, like get out of your realm, like your norm and, you know, try something different. Who knows, that maybe your style may not be, but just keep trying something.
Yeah.
Some people, that's all they have is their clothes or the way they dress is their style because maybe their relationship, their life, they're bogged down with kids and work and they can't actually put their hands on hobbies or activities or lifestyle fucking movements and things. It's the most they can do is start listening to 99.5 The Wolf a little more and like I said, buy you some ropers. And again, if that's what you need, that makes you feel
Country's
good.
my favorite
Hell
movie
yeah,
of all
brother.
time.
Get it. Get after it. I'm happy for you.
It's the same thing with people, like, when they start riding bikes, they're probably not wearing Harley boots and Harley T-shirts to work and shit, but they go out and buy all that shit when they buy a motorcycle because it makes them fit in. You know?
And for 3 or 4 years, they got to live to ride and ride to live, and then they'll probably move on to something else.
Real hell yeah, brothers.
Then
Then
they'll be water dudes next. Then they'll start buying, was it Costa? They'll buy a bunch of Costa shit.
Yeah.
And
Salt Life.
yeah.
Shit. I wear Patagonia now. I'm all about the mountains.
I actually wear Patagonia to ride in.
That shit's way too bougie for me.
Oh,
I
dude.
can't afford that shit.
You talking about overpriced shit? It's out of my tax bracket.
So I have 2 Patagonia jackets.
Okay, to be fair, they are very comfortable and warm.
And I don't feel cool when I wear them at all, but
Functional.
it is functional. It's kind of like the Eileen Left jacket versus Carhartt. Which, you know, I'm not leaning anyway, but it was just one of those. It's like when you go buy a Carhartt jacket.
It's
like
Carhartt for people that have never been arrested.
Very well put. I like that.
Oh, that's
I'm going to use that from now on.
No, I dig it.
Patagonia's Carhartt for people that don't know how to fight.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's better.
Fuck yeah.
More accurate, yeah, for sure. I don't know, man. It's like I don't like when I wear it, like, cause their jackets, they pack up like this big, right? Mm-hmm. And so on a bike, it's like it's easy to store it. And like the little Patagonia jacket I have, I never wear it on the outside, but I'll like wear it and then throw a hoodie over it, and it's like it just seals in the heat and blocks the wind, and it's thin and I can move, and I love it, you know. But it's like $190 jacket, you know what I mean? That I don't want to wear because it's still a puffy jacket. I feel like it's like shiny. It draws attention to me, and I don't really like that. You know what I mean?
There's that shiny nerd on the bike over there.
Shiny ass nerd. Come here. Just pull your logos off your jacket.
I don't know why this video just popped in my head. I don't know if y'all saw it made the rounds 2-3 weeks ago, but it's a guy. I want to see he's on kind of like a Vikla 8-pingers. And you know those one wheel boards you kind of lean forward?
Yeah.
So guy's riding one of those, and it's kind of a halfway rural street, and he's right on the edge of it. And this fucking guy, this Vikla goes by and kicks him in the back, dude. It is the most bully ass shit. But I feel the guy, of course, he falls face fucking first.
Oh, dude, you gotta say that's.
I cried laughing. I went to send it to somebody else the day after I originally found it, and whatever story I saw, it had been deleted. Dude, it's so
dude,
fucking
you gotta
funny.
send that one to me. I need to see
I'll
that.
look for it. If anybody's listening to this and you find that video, if you see it, send it to me again, because it's genius, dude.
Yeah.
It's the most get fucked nerd.
Bikes riding, and he was on the right side. And he just
What? I need this in my life.
You know, he had at least 3 fucking drinks at the last bar they were at.
0 fucks are given.
Oh, he got patched in after that.
These are the laughing devils now. Oh, but I mean, after like, I mean, you see it even happening now. Like, obviously, with what's the recent like Sons of Anarchy spinoff, Mayans. I mean, it's going on 5 years now that it's been on the deal, and there was already a Vikla movement, but now you see that more prevalent. More people are willing to, or it's inspired more people to try those type of bikes out. Mm-hmm. So it's like you have this whole thing going on, you know, and it sucks because it's like it's not necessarily hate. It's just pointing out the fact, like, oh, look, this happens. Like, magazines start promoting this type of bike, and this type of bike starts becoming prevalent. Mm-hmm. But it's not that the magazines are trying to create something out of nothing, or the podcast or the YouTube channel. It's like, no, this is something that's brewing up over here in this little area, and it looks fun. It looks interesting. It looks new. Here's what's going on, and next thing you know, it starts to take off. And this whole performance bike thing is the first thing that I've seen brew out of like a very, very small pot, which of course people are going to tell us like, oh, we've been fucking performance baggers since '94. You know what I mean? But, you know, jerk off motion, we get it, dude. You've been around. But the true scene that we're all a part of right now, that everybody's like signing into, mm-hmm. like seeing it kind of emerge, obviously out of California, but kind of, you know, just become what it's become over the last 5 years. And then, you know, even like Craig runs that goddamn Facebook page, the Performance Baggers or whatever the hell. It's got like a stupid amount of people following it. And it's like half those people on there have never heard of a lot of the people, us, or even the people in California that's kind of helped create the trend. But they've seen it on some kind of Instagram. They've seen it on some kind of video. The Bagger Racing League, that's where they first saw it at. So now that's their, what do you call, like, that's their point of discovery, and everything before that is kind of like null and void to them, because Bagger Racing League exposed them to this. You know what I'm saying? Which is fine. That's kind of the way we all find things. Like, honestly, I saw Sons of Anarchy before I saw Dynas in fucking in NorCal.
This was like when I was high school or junior high school when that shit came out.
Yeah.
And I was like, I've had family members that had Harleys and stuff. I never thought twice about it, and then that kind of just glorified it in a way. Yeah. Like, cool ass black Dynas, you know, quarter fairings, T-sport fairings, all that jazz. And I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool. But then it wasn't until like later on, like I started seeing like social media posts and stuff of like people doing cool shit with them, or and I started following you, or I started hanging out with like people in downtown that have like cool bikes, and they're just ripping down to Galveston here and there, and I'm like, okay, now it's cool. I like that.
Yeah, if you find the connection to you, other than just like
because like just the show in itself, like there's some action packed parts in it, and like okay, that's enticing, but it wasn't doing anything for me.
I always use this analogy. I go watch Fast and Furious at the movie theater. I'm like, this is interesting. I didn't know this the first one.
First one only.
And then I'm driving my Ford Focus.
Like it owes you money. Like you just stole that motherfucker.
Drive it like you stole it, baby.
And I pass a parking lot full of cars that have neon lights, and looks like that scene where Ja Rule's like, you know, they make that first bet in the Fast and Furious, and I'm like, this really exists.
Oh, yeah.
Like, and this is obviously before the internet that we have today. So it's like, I'm inspired by something that happened on TV, but I have no idea where this exists. Mm-hmm. How do you find the chat room to get into this culture, right? And next thing you know, I'm driving by it, and I like, well, that's fucking awesome.
You just stumble upon it.
I'm going to stop in there, and I'm going to walk through, and I'm going to be the awkward dude walking up to some dude with a Honda Civic Type R going, does this have a spoon engine in it? You know what I mean? Just like trying to be relevant. You know what I mean?
How many shots of nitrous you run into this thing?
And so, I get like the whole concept of it, or like it's weird how like, I remember that day I saw that shit. I stumbled upon it. I hung out there in that parking lot for a while, and they all went to go race, and then I went home, and I was just like, oh shit, my life just changed. Mm-hmm. Like something that inspired me on a movie, Now I find out it actually is a real life in the area I live in Texas, not, LA, right? And I was like, fuck, like this is, fuck, I want to get into that. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, and I guess some people like grow up with like their dad does racing and shit like that. So you're at the drag strip all the time. Like my stepdad raced, but he also sold lots of drugs. So he, was he racing at the track or selling drugs?
Who knows?
Who knows, man?
Yeah,
but,
I mean,
go ahead. Sorry.
Well, I was just gonna say, like, that's the way, like, that Sons of Anarchy thing is. It's kind of like opening the motorcycle scene to, like, the cubicle guy or whatever that never really thought about Harleys and
Fight
stuff
Club
before.
type shit.
Yeah. Oh, dude, Fight Club.
Yeah, the lucky ones are born into it. The guys that you get out of a crib and that's just part of it. Like that's, in my opinion, you're lucky. Like I'm very happily into this. Yeah. But yeah, as far as the Sons of Anarchy thing, it's just there's everything. I mean, there's a guy who likes to fish who never, one day found a clip of people in Oklahoma using their hands to, you know what I mean? And all of a sudden he's like, oh, fuck, you can do this? Like the show, the movie, that's just the Hollywood version.
Talking about like catfishing?
Yeah, like the noodling. Like
noodling.
It's just anything. Like you don't even know it exists until you see something. And I'll never really hold that against, especially if you come into it realizing, okay, keep it in check where the avenue that you discover this whole thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Obviously, everything's not like sensitive. If that's that's your foray into it, if you walk into Strokers like, all right, where's the fucking Banshees or whoever, and you're looking, you're probably not going to have a good time. But if you just realize, like, that's just your entry into something, and then from that, you just take it with, I don't know, with class and everything else, and you go into it where there's a whole fucking world that you didn't even know existed. Yeah. I don't know. It's, I stand on that.
Feel that. I mean, I kind of relate that back into the photography thing. Like somebody who's getting like into it, they see other people like you, me, or Chopsky, or Michael Lecter, anybody. They see that kind of stuff that they're doing. That's like their entry into that, and then they want to dabble into that more, and then maybe they end up developing their own style, and now they're creating something that's completely fucking different, and it's killing the game. You never know.
Yeah, that's the one thing that like I feel like it's, I don't know if we do a good job at it or not, but like if anybody's interested in trying this shit out, like there's never been a better time to take up a new hobby. And
sure, absolutely.
The good thing about like I've always said this about like the way I progress and the things that I'm interested in is everything I do outside of painting bikes still has to do with bikes. So it's like I'm still watering the main garden. I'm just planting some other shit around it. You know what I'm saying? Like photography or events or whatever the fuck may be. So it's like, you already want to go ride somewhere, but we'll buy a camera. Now you get to go, and you already, one of the things that I've realized that like a lot of people that get into photography who don't ride, who are just I just want to be a photographer. They don't know what to take pictures of. They start taking pictures of flowers and shit and bees and shit, just whatever, which is fine. But, sorry, I'm stuck. I can't breathe out of my nose, so everything's coming out of my mouth.
And we had that
talking and burping.
Bomb-ass Chinese food or Mexican food.
Mexican food. Calm down. Well, I guess what I'm trying to get at is just like, invest in a little bit of something. You don't have to get like a baller-ass camera, but, man, you can get some great cameras for good money, man.
Sure.
There's a lot of good stuff out there. And you don't necessarily have to be Chopsky or Michael Lichter or you or anything like that. You just got to do you. And it's like the fact that you're taking pictures of something or creating, that memory, it's like it's all that matters. Do it for you. You know what I'm saying?
And I feel like people are not honing in on that aspect of it. They're not just trying to create something. They're trying to emulate something else. They're trying to be somebody else. They're trying to be like somebody else. Yeah. And then, I mean, unfortunately, they just kind of go through their woes of that and figure out, I just need to be
who they
me.
are. Yeah.
Be me as a creator, or not even in photography, but like, in painting or, building stuff. It doesn't matter. Like, just do you. Like, have fun. But I mean, it's unfortunate. Like, everybody's influenced by like social media and everything, that they try and be somebody else nowadays.
Yeah, it's weird. It's a very hypo. It's very hypocritical thing, because at the same time, you know, I see someone doing something on Instagram, like, I want to do that. I'm inspired by that. But I'm not necessarily trying to copy them. I'm just trying to take, like, you doing this trip in the car with the homies. I'm like, I want to do that. I don't know how I'm going to make it happen, but that's something I want to do and experience with other photographers.
So the thing is, like, kind of behind that is I wanted to do it how y'all were doing it when y'all were going to, like, Sturgis and everything, when y'all get all the, you know, the boys together and stuff, and y'all go right out. That was kind of like my mindset. It's like, okay, I got some friends, we're gonna go do this little trip and we're just gonna hit the road together. And that's I was like, because we had done that before in 2017. I'm like, I need to relive that, but I don't want to do it on a bike again just yet. But and then it just kind of, everything kind of like lined up. I'm like, okay, this is the time to do it. Like, I'm gonna relive kind of like that. Yeah. And then it just ended up being perfect, the entire thing. That's
the thing. It's like
so it's kind of like back and forth. It's just kind of like bouncing off of each other unintentionally, kind of thing. We like subconsciously think about like the times that we have had or what we do want. Yeah. And then we just kind of go for it.
Yeah. I mean, I think about like, I mean, in the last, we're 2022 going into 23. So essentially, I mean, I've been doing the California road trip and stuff since like 2015, but, and I've got memories from 15, 16, and then 17 with you guys, but 18, that 18 was the one year we were doing that, like that podcast earlier. We were talking about like, that for the Patreon shit. Right. And that's the only year that I didn't do a trip with anybody. Like me and my wife did a road trip together. No real bike trips that year. And 19 is the year that we all linked up and did the big trip, and then kicked off this last going on 4 year. Is it 4 years? So 19 we did Cali. 20 we did Sturgis. 21 we did
East
Coast. 22 we did Pacific Northwest. This year we did Pacific. And the next year will be our 5th year, which is weird. Like, it's weird how years work, because I'm like, we're coming up on 5 years of the podcast, but the podcast started a year before our trips did, but yet we're doing our 5th trip next year. It's weird. Yeah.
One thing, either before you move on to something you touched on a minute ago, as far as people wanting to get into it and get a camera without money, whether y'all want to start thinking about it now and package it till the end, or get into it now. But if for the dude listening who's got $800 saved and he's wanting, but he just doesn't know, idiot proof it for him. Like, what would you, without turning into a 30-minute tech talk, what would you recommend to the guy who says, I want to try to get into this, I just don't know where the fuck to start?
Best Buy.
Used.
It's literally, okay, so now, like, Facebook Marketplace, you know, everything is a little bit more, like, you can go on there with a little bit more confidence and buy stuff, but that wasn't a thing back in, like, 2015, 2016. So I literally just went to Best Buy and I, like, looked at the kit cameras that they had that came with the lenses and stuff, and I just picked one that was in my price range, and you just work with it. As long as it's like a detachable lens, you can put different lenses and stuff on it. You can start diving deeper into, okay, maybe what can I do with just a prime lens, or maybe a telephoto lens, or maybe a wide angle lens or something like that. Doesn't matter whether it's Sony, Nikon, Fuji, whatever, you know, doesn't matter. Just get something.
Is there a megapixel limit or?
Nope, doesn't matter.
A lot of those details are something that you get into with cameras where you have a specific reason, because, like, say my camera has a 45 megapixel image that it creates on the largest setting, but a lot of the most high-end cameras are in our world of Sony and Canon and stuff like that will only come with like a 23 or 24 megapixel camera, which is a smaller image on the other end, but it does different things, right? But if someone has $800, I would say, like, I
meant the guy that watches you, follows you, listens, and goes, dude, I'm inspired. I'm ready to do it. I'm ready to fucking grab something and start going and figuring it out. I just don't know where the fuck to start.
The good thing about this is it's a similar concept to the bike thing, right? Obviously, you're going to skip over the Sportster. Sorry.
It's okay.
You're going to skip over that. Around. So, like, if you have $800 or even $600, like, there's full frame cameras out there that you can get, and it's going to future proof you for at least a while till you get to the point where you want to, like, start really investing in stuff. You can get a badass camera setup for $1,000, or what you want to do is get something scalable, and that's something when you go used, you're getting something that like you're definitely not gonna like. I just sold my last camera body for $1,000, and I bought it new for $2,000. I used it for 2 years. Cameras have wear and tear, so I used 13% of its life. So before you have to have it reserviced and new shutter put in it, or new sensor, I think is what it is.
It's they reset the shutter count because you can only do like so many thousands or whatever it is. But yeah, dude, just get something. And there's an abundance of YouTube videos. It doesn't matter what camera you get, because I didn't think that there was going to be videos on my first camera. Sure enough, there's fucking a plethora of videos of like
shit.
What settings are which, how to use it. But then it's not only for that specific camera. It can go across any camera as far as like settings, how to shoot RAW, JPEG, bracketing, metering, all that kind of stuff. Then you can go
into the whole other rabbit hole of editing.
Exactly. So then you start learning how to use the camera. All right, I know how to use the camera. I got that shot. How do I go into post-production on that? How do I make it pop a little bit better? You go into the rabbit hole of that. And then you get to the point where you're like, okay, now I can progress and go further. Let me get a better camera. Let me get better lenses. Let me start investing a little bit more money into this. And it all started with just that one simple $500 to $800 camera. I mean, it didn't even have to be that. It could be like a cheap little $100 camera that you find off of a Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, those things. There's plenty of opportunity. The camera world is so vast.
It's just how much work do you want to put into it? Like, how much time you willing to invest into it? Is this just a fad, or is it something you really want to do? Like,
yeah, my son wants to learn how to play the electric guitar. I don't know how to play it, right? My daughter gave him this past weekend a acoustic guitar, and I was trying to explain to him, like, look, this acoustic and electric, similar amount of strings, I believe. Same. Yeah, same strings, different sound. And I was like, look, show me for the next month and a half that you really want to learn how to play the electric guitar by playing this acoustic. And if you do, then I'll buy you a electric guitar with the amp and all that shit.
Sure.
But if you can't, show me, if you're not going to put any time on this, then it's like, let's not waste your Christmas present on something you're not going to use.
Sure.
You know what I'm saying?
I had the same issue when I was younger. I wanted an electric guitar because all my friends had ones, but my dad got me an electric keyboard instead because they have... No, because the thing is like they have like the same notes and stuff. So if you can learn how to play the keyboard, you can basically like kind of get the notes of like a guitar and everything, because he used to play and everything, and that's how he learned. So he's like, if you can put the time in for this, learn how to play it, we'll get you an electric guitar. Yeah. And clearly I wasn't super that into it. I just wanted it because my friends had it. Yeah. And I was just like, yeah, whatever. But it had all the cool, like, it was an old Casio. So it was like, had all the synthy buttons on there. So like, bzz, bzz, I was just fucking around with it.
The problem is, like, that shit probably could have made the dopest shit ever, especially now.
Nowadays? Oh, yeah. I wish I would have kept that thing. I would have been fucking, like, the next Skrillex or some shit. But fucking pressing buttons and shit. But, I mean.
You ever watched, I watch these, like, things on YouTube called Jam in the Vans, and they're basically like a lot of indie music, a lot of like any music from country to pop to rap to everything. But Jam in the Van is like a channel that like these people come into this van and they make the music all in the van, right? And they had Robert DeLong on there, which he's more of a electronic kind of. I wouldn't call him Skrillex, but technically in that world.
A DJ of some sort.
Yeah, a DJ type thing. But I watched this motherfucker make every note, every sound on this song in this YouTube video, and it forever changed the way I hear his music. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's almost like when you see people to make music, it changes how you consume it, and it just completely changes it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's a dude in, I think it's like London or France or something. It's called DubFX, and I thought it was just like pressing buttons, like beatboxing or doing whatever. But then I saw he put out this video a long time ago. He's in the streets with these like footboards and keyboards and everything, and every sound he's making, it's beatboxing, and then he just loops it.
Yep.
And he loops it over and over and over again, and then he sings on top of all that stuff.
Exactly.
I'm like, damn, okay, that's fucking badass. Like,
Yeah.
he's making everything. So fucking cool. So then it kind of puts you in like, okay, I got a little bit more respect for, you know, what you're doing. You're not just pressing buttons and stuff.
And that's the thing. Everything is like when you unveil the curtain of what it takes to create certain things. I'm sure the homies appreciate photography more because they see me trying to make it for them, or somebody that's hanging out in the paint shop sees how much goes into a paint job. You have an appreciation for it. And the same thing when I it's kind of like when you see something live, you know what I mean? Watching a live musician go at it, it does completely
change your perspective on
yeah, it makes you feel like, oh shit, like this dude he's making everything that I've heard right in front of me instead of like playing a song and rapping over it or some shit, you know what I mean? And so that's what I was saying about the Robert DeLong with that Jam in the Van, is you see this dude with a drum set, you know, a couple things, a little fucking, like all these different things, and he starts doing these things and making sounds and doing this and looping it, and next thing you know, it just turns into this whole fucking like,
it's a symphony.
It's a symphony.
Yeah.
It really is. And it's like, whoa, I showed my son that, and he was blown the fuck away.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He's
Show
like,
somebody, like, just let them listen to it, and they're like, oh, okay, that's cool. And then show them what it took to make that. And it's just a whole different outlook.
it's just an
on it.
appreciation. Like, it's an appreciation for art is what it is. It's like, we consume so much art. Like, art's everywhere. It's in the T-shirts that we wear. It's in the fucking logo that's on that Carhartt shirt. It's like, art is like one of those things that's overexploited, underappreciated by most people because the things that people consume every day that is art, they don't see it as art. You know, you don't see the logos on these. When you're driving down the street, you don't see all the billboards as art because maybe even artists don't see them as art. But somebody digitally put that fucking image together, Photoshop, whatever you want to do to put on a billboard. That's some type of art.
Or what's
Right.
what's that show they had on, I think it was like Discovery Channel or something, How's It Made?
Yeah.
And it's just the most random shit. You wouldn't even think, like, how a toilet's made or something. You're like, nobody ever thinks about that. And you're like, the amount of work it goes to just putting in, like, just the seat. I'm like, what the fuck, dude? It's shit like that. Like, you never think about it until you actually physically see it.
I want to know who the guy was that was sitting on a bucket shitting in it and going, I'm fucking done with this.
My ass hurts.
Well, at some point, didn't it start even from there from just quit shitting on yourself? So like, I'm done with this. Let me try to do something else.
This isn't working out. I need to switch
Yeah.
it out.
100 years later, somebody comes out of the bed, he's like, I guess I'll go fuck myself.
Yeah, it went from just shitting while you were running, jackass style. You're like, man, this is not a good system. So let me just try standing still. You're like, it's still all over my feet. Let me see if maybe I can sit on something. But then, yeah, it kept. But at some point, somebody was like, oh, breakthrough. Let's cut a fucking hole in it. Shit through the hole. Mind's blown.
But then where do we put the shit? Where does that go?
Somebody was a millionaire of their time
Dig a hole in the ground.
when they invented just shitting in a hole.
Yeah. Fair enough.
What? I don't want people to look at me. Let's build a box around it now. There you
Exactly.
It's the outhouse.
go. And you got outhouses.
Oh, shit, you got walls when you shit?
First dude to wipe his ass with poison ivy said, fuck this, we got some hyper up in this motherfucker.
Trial and error.
How do
trial
you
and error.
think? What if it's the Roman times and people are just like randomly shitting in like a hall?
Oh, what was it? Fucking, I forget what show I was watching, but like they show like how it was to shit in old times, and it was literally like, you know, how they have like stalls in like bathrooms and stuff, or like urinals or everything, but it's just holes on like a bench, and it's just open, and everybody's just kind of sitting there, just kind of casually talking. Just
So what if like
okay.
this chick she's the most banging chick you've ever seen in your life? She is the fucking bee's knees of Roman times, and you just happen to walk by and see her fucking having a violent shit in a hole, and I guess maybe in that time you have eyes for that, like, oh shit, she's doing that beautifully, but at the same time you're just thinking to yourself like I know everybody shits, but I don't necessarily want to watch my wife shit. You know what I'm saying?
No, absolutely.
It's a whole different mindset, and I think there's parts of the world to this day that are still that you still like parts of India and China that you shit on the street in front of people. I was listening to one of the Protect Our Parks, and there's Mark and Ari were talking about being in China, in actual China, and there's this thing where you sit down on this thing, you shit, and underneath it there's like pigs, like these, you shit directly into this pig pen. The pigs eat your shit, which then turn around and you eat. Like, There's a lot of places that are not doing so
Happy
well
Thanksgiving, everybody.
in this department. But
What do you think's more like of what the act of shitting or the act of wiping and seeing if you're done? What would you like? Like if you had to watch a chick do it, would turn you off?
if I don't watch, I'd rather watch the cleanup. Yeah, because there's really nothing more just more assaulting to the senses than the chick when whether it's the noise, the whatever. There's just something that is not natural.
The warm smell.
And I'm pretty free and easy. I'm an open bathroom door policy kind of guy. And there's times where I'm like, yeah, I'm out of here. Like this is just a line I don't want to cross anymore. So yeah, if I have to watch one of the two, I'll watch the cleanup all the time. I don't want to watch the making of. I don't want to watch the dirtying. I don't want to. I just want to.
I feel like I'd be better with her like just hearing it come out, but not having to watch her wipe and check.
No,
one more.
All right, maybe two more.
What do you pick, Giddy?
Me and my wife been together like 11, going on 12 years. I told her if she ever farted or shit in front of me, it's immediate divorce. Immediate.
I'm taking you to the train station.
I'm keeping the kids. They don't need to be through that.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. That's a weird one. Fuck, what do you do though? You know, what are you gonna do?
Shit in front of her. What do you want? You got to put up enough of her shit. She can put up with yours for 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Or what's the dad from Friday say? I've been smelling your shit for 38 years or whatever. You can smell mine for 15 minutes. Get in here.
Oh man. Oh well. Mason, thank you,
dude. Thank you.
I think
finally making this happen.
Yeah.
Like, long overdue, like we said, but
talking about pictures and shit.
I know, right? A little bit of motorcycles here and there, but no, for real, it was fun. Been watching the podcast for a long time, and it's been fun. It's been cool just to actually sit down and just talk to y'all and catch up and just talk about dumb shit.
No, for sure. It's been a long overdue thing. Like I said, having a lot of experience with you, like whenever I switched directions in my career and linking up with you guys, all the dudes from Houston, and falling in love with T-bars and Dynas, FXRs, all this shit. It's like that shit. It seems like a lifetime ago now when we talk about it. Like thinking about 2017. You know what I'm saying? But
it wasn't that long ago. But just so much has happened in between then, personally, in society and stuff. It's like, fuck, dude.
I wonder if it doesn't feel that long ago because I still cling on to that identity I had then. That's some like smoke a bowl shit
kinda.
Right there.
May have to do another podcast where everybody gets real toasted and we really dive deep into that shit.
Wait a minute, I got a thought.
Wait a minute.
We do another 3 hours real quick.
But I do wonder that because, like I said, that was probably, we were talking about how people like change their vibe. Mm-hmm. That's when I changed mine, and I'm still on that kick. And so I wonder if like it does feel like a lifetime ago, but it also does feel like it's still part of like me now. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't feel like a different life in general. Mm-hmm. If that completely contradicts itself, but yeah, I know it's weird, man. Like I said, I can still remember those giddy ups and Texas Hills and riding to California and you playing the fucking music while I'm checking.
Oh fuck yeah, that was great. We're playing what was it, like an old like 90s club dance song, whatever.
Some skating ring shit right there.
Yeah, and you were fixing like tightening the primary or your.
We're sitting out of a Love's. We're sitting in a Love's. We're in Tehachapi, California, at a Love's, and I have my whole primary cover off, and we have 2 like hamburger boxes open to catch the primary fluid as I readjust my tensioner. Because it got so out of whack that I had to actually pull the primary off to fix it, which did not fix it, by the way.
No. It was still knocking.
Knocking like a motherfucker. But this was, 4 days into the trip or 3 days in the trip? Yeah. And, like, you guys were I could tell you guys were getting annoyed with me having to fix my bike every fucking day on this trip. And Yeah, he just had like a little speaker box and he started playing like some. I'm sitting there on the ground. There's a picture of it and a video somewhere.
Mm-hmm. No,
and
I got it still.
I'm wrenching on the primary, and he's just sitting there doing the fucking party boy.
And then Brad's over there doing like the worm, but like standing up, he's just like.
And there's just like it was a vibe, but it's crazy. It is like those stories I've told so many times in this podcast that. And we used to talk about this. Remember, we used to say this a lot about how like the hardships on our trips made them so great.
Oh, absolutely.
That's what you always talk about.
But we haven't had any hardships on our trips in a while.
You need to throw a wrench into that thing
Not
so
super,
often.
yeah. Besides the first one, that was pretty tough to keep him going. But
Yeah.
Trent on the main trip,
Yeah.
he had a little hardship, but he just bought a new bike.
I mean, that's what makes the trips interesting. Like this past trip I was just on, those fuel lines breaking down, and like you can't find these motors, or you can't just go to O'Reilly and find these fuel lines anywhere. You have to either know somebody or pray that there's like a spare part at like a pick and pull somewhere.
Yeah.
And that's what made it interesting. We broke down in Carlsbad, stayed there for the night, and they ended up finding that exact same motor in a pick and pull in fucking San Diego. And like,
Wow.
what are the odds? So I pull all 5 of those lines, and I'm like, we got extras for the road in case it breaks down. And in turn doing that, we end up staying in Carlsbad for a little bit, got some really good food, ended up meeting up with some friends that used to live here in Houston.
Yeah.
And that live out there now, which we didn't know. And we just stayed at their place, like ate tacos, went to the beach, got a little high, drank some beer, and just ended up being like a great like cap to like the catastrophe that we just went through and we were stressing about. But
yeah, that's a good way to like turn it.
Yeah, that's what makes the trip, because if everything was just perfect, it's like, okay, it's kind of boring. But that kind of made it like that more interesting.
No, it
was
makes sense, man.
But
The only hardships we dealt with in the last like 4 years, I'd say, is weather, and even that's not. I feel like we need to pull our man card a little bit.
Well, weather, just the, like I said, you're on the road 2-3 weeks, you have fatigue, you got shit, the world doesn't stop. You're on a bike, you're trying to zone the fuck out and have a good time, but you got people, whether it's work, old lady, whatever. So sometimes what did you say we were running into?
The hardships.
Hardships. Sometimes that's just life. That's just trying to actually enjoy your fucking vacation, in addition to doing something for 2 weeks that you usually don't get to do. You know what I mean? It's sometimes it's just the trip is the hardship, but like what you kind of inspired me, what you were saying, you were inspired by us, doing our thing. Well, it's the same thing. Like what I've told you, may not have 8 dudes you can do it with and have the perfect template, but get 2 buddies, get three of y'all, and do something. And because it's the same, it sounds like you and your buddies. And from what I've been seeing, watching, looking on your page, it's the same as us. No matter where you go and what you do, you're gonna have fun. If something goes sideways, guess what? We're gonna have fun and we're gonna fix it and figure it the fuck out. If the worst thing we got to do is worry about a little rain, a little cold weather, fuck it. We'll figure that the fuck out too. But no matter what, us together is gonna be a good fucking time.
Just make sure you have good friends while doing it. Don't get like a bunch of random, like 10, 20 random dudes to get together and go on like this big ride. Get your close homies, whether it's like 2, 3, 5, whatever, and then do something like that. That's what's going to make it more fun. Not the amount of people, but the quality of people that you have.
Yeah, 100%.
For sure, but there's also a little addendum on that. Just the way things turn over, there's almost always got to be, whether you want to look at it as a minor league, a prospect. I mean, there's always got to be something, or if nothing else, you got to keep the mindset that in a couple of years, one of these dudes may not be in on this for whatever reason.
Sure.
But there may be another dude that's just as fucking rad or more that's come along. And so I would say always keep an open mind on stuff like that.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Because, people are going to change. And, your friend group is going to either dwindle or expand or whatever.
Yeah, I guess my thing was don't be afraid to take a chance on somebody if you've got good vibes from them already. But that would definitely say pick people that you fuck with and that you're
Well, the third guy
with.
that we took onto this trip, I've met him maybe twice.
Yeah.
Never hung out with him, let alone do like a road trip or anything. And then he's coming on this trip last minute, and you just start talking and listening to a bunch of like random good music on the road, and turns out like that's a cool fucking dude to travel with. Like you want to travel with that person further on the next road trip or something like that. Give people a chance and they may surprise you.
Yeah, road tripping versus bike tripping is different, right? Like y'all gotta sync up musically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess on the bike trip, you got plenty of time where, as long as he doesn't weird you out at gas stops and ride like an asshole, you can probably get along with him
Yeah.
pretty easy. But it's a lot
pretty
easier
great.
than.
Well, even on the 2017 trip, I didn't even know Austin that well. Like I've
Yeah.
met him a couple times, and that's when we became really good friends. Is when we started riding back from like California to
'Cause
Texas.
y'all did an extended trip going.
Yeah,
some
we
other
went through Flagstaff because we
Yeah.
looked at Phoenix and it was like way too hot, and then we got into
Me and
Flagstaff
Brad
and
did
it was
Phoenix.
like, I mean, yeah, you guys are cool. We get it. All right,
We just wanted to say we did it, like I just did.
call Brad up.
I'm gonna
Remember
flex it every time.
I finally did it. I told him. I said it. But yeah, I mean, you never know. Just give people a chance, and they end up. You may not talk to them again, or they may be your best
Yeah.
friend. So
The craziest thing is, like, I'm forever connected to you and Todd, Austin. I never know what to fucking call
That's
him.
his last
He's
name.
got
That's all
two.
good.
He's got too many first names as
Yeah.
a name. But
It's a serial killer trait.
yeah, I'm forever connected with him and you and obviously Brad, just because anytime you travel with someone on an extensive trip like that, especially a memorable one for me at least, like you're never gonna like you can't not think about that. You can't
Sure.
not use that as a standard as to where you want to go from there. You know what I'm saying? It's a baseline, if you will.
no, for sure, absolutely.
All right, dude. Masonfoto. He brought his little.
That's just my water bottle, but yeah, I got stickers and stuff. But Masonfoto on Instagram, FOTO. That's it.
FOTO.
FOTO, baby.
I've had your page up a handful of times while we've been talking. So I
Cool. Thank you.
think anybody watching, or if you end up going, if you're just listening, go back and pull the YouTube. You can see some of the pictures from his last trip, some of the stuff we've talked about. Like I said, just a fucking phenomenal photographer, man.
Thank you. I appreciate that, guys. Appreciate y'all having
Thanks
me
for
on.
always getting my good side, bro.
I got
Thank
you,
you.
bud. All day. Cool beans. Peace, love, and chicken grease, yo.
Is that cultural appropriation?